Emotion I put into it, the harder I rock. We're better than you. We're better than you and your son.
What's going on, people? This is the 1-2 Kid, and this is the Left Hook Lowdown. I hope y'all enjoyed the fight last night as much as I did. I wanted to go live, but I could not. I had a lot going on at the same time, but I did watch the fight, and I was very entertained. Very entertaining fight. Caleb Plant put on a hell of a show, as did Canelo, with the big finish to become undisputed. Definitely now number one group of the greats. Probably now number one pound for pound, no question. With the late stoppage in the 11th round, the shocking stoppage. I literally had Plant up by like a round or so. So it was a close fight. Shout out to Plant for putting on the show, putting up a hell of a fight in the process. I was pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed with what he did. You know, also I wanted to talk about Tio and Haney. Tio's talking now like he wants to make that Devin Haney thing happen. He wants to make that stuff work. He wants to get that stuff together. He wants to make that Haney thing happen for undisputed after the Kambosos fight. He said all Devin Haney has to do is petition. I'm not sure how that works. I thought Devin was the WBC champion, but I guess you can petition for the belt as well, for the franchise belt. So, you know, I mean, go for it. If they make that happen, they can, you know, put those belts together, and maybe Haney could leave undisputed, or maybe Tio could pull off that undisputed fight. But that would be a really cool fight to happen. You know, right before he decides to move up, he said he's got like 1 or 2 fights left, including the Kambosos fight. So, yeah, I like the way Tio was talking to his dad at the time. So we'll see if they keep that same energy, man. That's what we got to do. We got to see if they keeping that same energy, because I think that's an exciting fight. Also, I want to talk on what Derek James had to say about Sean Porter, the low-key diss Bud Crawford. I wasn't very happy with that. I wasn't happy that he ran his mouth saying that Sean Porter was having his issues, talking about he's a washed fighter. I was disappointed. I was disappointed that he would say that he would low key, you know, knock Sean Porter and basically duck that Bud Crawford smoke again. You know, he's got a trainer that don't want it. He's got a network that don't want it. This is for Spence's part, but to say he's a washed fighter, it was a damn close fight that he had with Sean Porter. So what would that make Spence? If somebody wanted to be a hater or hate on Spence, they could say that Spence was washed, you know. But I don't believe neither one of those things to be true. Then Derek James even went as far as to say, and if we know Porter wants that rematch, but he's going to have to beat Bud to get it. Like, why didn't you mention Bud? Why you skip over Bud Crawford? that bothered me. I'm like, so this dude's still ducking that smoke, man. So that unification probably never going to happen. I think Bud should just go on and move on past Spence. There's really no point in sitting there trying to unify with guys that just are not gonna fight you. You know, they're not gonna fight you. When your trainer don't want you to fight the motherfucker, you know, that tells you everything. You know, your trainer like, nah, man, don't fight that dude. You ain't fighting that guy. But the undercard on paper was hot trash last night, though. I wasn't impressed, but the event itself, the fighters and the fights that were made, you know, they weren't bad. You know, there was some devastating knockouts. You know, seeing Elvis in there with the stoppage, he looked like he had some trouble for a little while. Then there was 2 other guys that was in there. I think it was Vargas, and he pulled off his dub. I think that fight was a little closer than what they put on. They were very biased panel, though. I have to say, Showtime was really on some bullshit. And also we had Darrell was on there as well. with a early stoppage as well. So he got his stoppage early, and his wife, I guess, wanted him to not retire, which is the first. I never heard that. Never heard, wives a wife saying, stay in the game, after a loss, a stoppage, and then a tight fight to say stick around, But maybe she seen something. Maybe she knew something we didn't. But he did get the KO and did what he had to do early on in the fight. Now the Caleb Plant fight, man, I was very impressed with Plant, and the first 2 rounds I was very unimpressed with Canelo. I was like, who is this guy? I was like, who is this dude? Like, this don't look like Canelo in here. I know he can be a slow starter, all that, but he looked extremely slow in the first 2 rounds. I guess he had to get his gears greased and then pick up the pace later on. And then it just turned into a very exciting fight. The rounds were going back and forth. I gave Caleb 4 rounds in a row. And then I gave Canelo 2 rounds in a row. And then they were just going back and forth. I'm pretty sure I had Caleb up by 1 point in the 10th prior to getting stopped, put to sleep, go to bed. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty good, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole thing, and I hope you all enjoyed the event. Uh, but we got an undisputed champion, man. Canelo is an undisputed champion at 168. So there we go. And Haney can petition for that TO fight after the Cambosis, and but he may have to wait for after his JoJo fight. Can he petition prior? I'm not sure how that works. And also, as for what else we got going on? Oh, yeah, so he could petition for that fight, and he could make that fight happen according to Eddie Hearn and Teofimo Lopez. But also, JoJo isn't enrolling in VADA yet. He didn't sign the VADA contract. He didn't enroll in VADA. And I guess Devin Haney said he's dragging his feet. Shout out to Black Horseman for dropping that link. So, that's all I really wanted to drop today. I just want to talk about a few things. It seems like a lot of people are sleeping right now. So I'm taking it they all enjoyed the fight as well. But when it comes to Derek James, trainer of the year or not, man, I call him like that dude just literally just ducked Bud for like a third, fourth time. That was sad. That was sad. Saying, oh, he gonna beat up a washed Sean Porter. Washed. Called Sean Porter washed. Oh man. Well, that told me everything. So we're gonna move on. He's scared. He's scared to put his fighter in there with Bud. It's just done. I don't think that fight's gonna happen. But look, like I said, we could get undisputed at 135, a real undisputed, no disputed dispute at 135 if Devin Haney and Teo make this happen. And it's possible. It's very possible. Teo said that, and his father said that they could be fighting in February after the Cambosis fight, and that all Haney has to do is petition. And if the money's right, that they'll make it happen. ESPN will obviously have first dibs, but the zone said they'll take the fight as well. So this is cool. You know what I mean? This is cool. What's going on, LeBron? What you doing, man? Enjoy the fight last night? I was impressed with Plant, man. I was impressed till he got caught. He got caught, and Canelo caught him with the big shot, with the big left hook, rocked the shit, and then caught him with the uppie on the way down. I was but until then, I don't know what the commentators were watching. I had Plant winning a lot of them rounds, man. I don't know what was happening. There was a serious bias there, so the decision probably wasn't going to go his way anyway if he did get it. But shout out to Canelo for finishing that dude, man. He finished him like he just skated him. Now he gonna be in the history books as one of the greats, y'all. He going down as one of the greats, man, because he's one of the best of this era. That undisputed really worked. and there was really no controversy in the fight other than them commentators and they bullshit. I enjoyed the fight as well. I enjoyed the fight as well. He definitely came to put on the show. He didn't come in there to lay down. And the fact that the crowd booed him when he left, I was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, that's tribalism at its finest, I guess. Because I was like, this was a good, entertaining fight. Uh, it wasn't like he was just running the whole fight. Wasn't like he was moving the whole fight. He was standing there getting shots off. That sneaky right hand kept landing. But yeah, it. I thought that I know that there's a game plan to beat him. I was shocked at how bad Canelo looked in the first 2 rounds, though. I was really shocked. I was like, this dude looks. This don't look like Canelo. And I know he's a slow starter. They said that's what they were saying, but I don't know, man. It didn't look like him for the first 2 rounds. Like I said earlier, he must have had to grease his gears, man, to get back up because yeah, it didn't look like him in there. He was just getting touched and his punches looked slow. I don't know if he was looking for the knockout or what, but I think that's one of his Achilles heels, man. When he's got that crowd on his side like that, the first thing you want to do, if you want to pull off it was going to be my game plan. I was going to do a live prior to the fight, but I had to take my son home. I had to drive him out of the city back to his city. But I was thinking, I was like, the one thing that the weakness that Canelo has is his pride, and if you take full advantage of that, you can pull off the dub, and you get him out of his game plan. But Reynoso brought him back home and got him to win. He told him to stay focused, stay doing what you do in the gym, y'all. You know what I'm saying? He was like, we would do what you was doing in the gym, and then he came back to life and got him out of there. It was a competitive fight all the way through, even on Canelo's side. He was doing his thing as well. But you could tell he was troubled and he was eager to get a stoppage. He was eager to get that man out of there. And that's the way you can beat Canelo is you got to fight a perfect fight like Plant was. The one thing that I was concerned about Plant in the fight that I think he needed to improve on was when sometimes when he don't do anything, he just crouches down and he'll pay for that. And he did. He did. When he would hold still and crouch down, that's not gonna work. You gotta stay on your feet. You gotta make adjustments on the fly because Canelo coming to take your head off. So I was impressed with the fight. I really said Plant's jab was looking good. Yes, it was. It was working well too. His uppies as well. His uppies as well. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Plant, man, after that fight. Because he showed me that he does have what it takes to be a, a real champion, and he showed that he belonged in the ring with these guys. He's a force to be reckoned with. He just got rocked with that left hook, man. That left hook was pretty. He did the right thing. It just caught him on the top of the head, and then he just finished him with the uppie. I was like, "Oof!" That uppie, that sealed the deal, man. Then caught him on the way down. Then just beat him up. He was out, man. That motherfucker walked from one side of the ring and then back again. Ain't know what was going on, but he was still game. He didn't have an opportunity to get up, but I think there was a lot of time in the round. The ref was like, man, you ain't got no legs. I don't think it was a bad stoppage, but I do think that Caleb probably would have got up, but I don't think it was a bad stoppage because it was inevitable. 1 second, y'all. Yeah, it was inevitable, but yeah, man, great fight though, man. And shout out to Canelo, man. This dude just made history as well. First Mexican undisputed, I believe, and first 168 undisputed. So he just made history, man. He did what Ruiz let go of. Maybe Ruiz could do the same. But I tell you, that crowd was like 90-10 Canelo. Man, them people, they came out. The Mexicans came out, boy. They came out, boy. I was like, damn, man. It was like this dude's the star. He's the superstar of the show at the moment. But it didn't affect Caleb. But you got to use that against him. You got to embarrass him a little bit. That gets him out of his game plan. He got too much pride. borderline arrogance. So you want to use that and make them want to try to take your head off, kind of like Floyd did, kind of like Laura did, and then Pot shot him when he ain't doing nothing, and that's what Plant did. He had a good game plan. He went in there, it just didn't go his way. Uh, Canelo dug down and pulled that left hook out and said, "Take that with you." And I liked that I liked that it was good sportsmanship at the end of the fight as well. I liked that they talked the shit and got all that bullshit out the way. And I guess somebody apologized to somebody. Canelo made it clear to say, fix that up. He made the translator translate that shit. Translate that shit. And then he started speaking English. So I'm not sure what was said. I was trying to rewind the shit, but for some reason, pay-per-view wouldn't let me rewind the motherfucker. So I was like, this is it. I got that shit on the PS4. So I don't know how that worked. I couldn't find it on my apps. Earlier I could, but then when I wanted to order the fight real quick, because I had a lot going on, I for some reason I couldn't find it. So I just had to go right to the PS4 to get the shit. And then when I did, it just said you could just either cancel it, stop it, but you couldn't rewind it, which was a little crazy. But I wanted to rewind what was said in a couple of things that happened during the fight. Because I missed the Darrell fight. I mean, the Darrell knockout like 3 times in a row, the replay and everything. I was like, shit. But then I caught it at the end of the whole show. So it was all right. It was a pretty good card. I was entertained. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all the way, man. As a boxing fan, I enjoyed it. I'm sure y'all did as well. But we got LeBron in the building. We got Chen Smoke in the building. We got Tobey in the building. We got the Boxing Lounge in there. Mr. Tommy Timber himself. Well, any questions you guys got? Anything y'all want to talk about? Aob's in the building. That fight was at 5 a.m. over really. About to watch it now. Oh, shit. Damn. I hope I ain't give too much away. Well, it's definitely worth a watch, man, if you didn't watch it, Aob's. Or you're going to rewatch it. Well, I'll open up the link if y'all want to get on here and chit-chat anybody. It looked like the team probably all asleep, but I'll drop the link anyway if y'all want to get on there. What's going on, Exclusive News? How you doing, man? I seen you did your live last night, man. I hope it did well. I hope it did well, bro. If y'all ain't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to that kid, man. That dude he's nice. He got his shit going. You know what I mean? You're more than welcome to hop on as well. The link is in the chat. This is what we're doing. But I was impressed. I was impressed with the final fight. I was impressed with how it went. It was definitely worth the watch. I wasn't disappointed in the pay-per-view at all. We got an undisputed champion. I like undisputed. And Canelo made history, but Plant put on a hell of a show. He came to fight. He didn't just lay down. He got laid down eventually, but he was trying to get up every time. So shout out to him, man. And he put on some skills, man. He put on some skills, and we also seen in that fight, as of now, that this man may not be unbeatable, even at this time with all the improvements he made. Like Rosado said it, anybody could be beaten in the boxing rings, but the man just made history. The man just made history, so you can't take that away from him, man. Canelo riding high, man. He riding that success wave right now with the immense stoppage. He got that man out of there. But when I was looking at the records, I was like, who has Plant fought really? I'm like, damn. I'm like, but he showed that he belonged, man. He showed that he belonged. He put on a hell of a thing. Yeah, you see that shit? Yeah, you like that one? Yeah. Yo, I was talking earlier too, about what Derek James was saying about Sean Porter, saying that he's a washed fighter, and Bud's a fighter, but he's fighting a washed fighter, and you can't say that, man. You can't say that Porter's a washed fighter. And then he went on and said, And we know Porter wants that rematch, but he'll have to beat Bud for that rematch. And I'm like, why ain't you calling out Bud? Why, like you just you scared to death of this man. Like, why are you so scared of this man? So I don't ever see that fight happening. You know, the rumors are true. I mean, when your coach don't want you to fight a guy, that your network don't want to fight you to fight a guy, and you ain't showing no energy to fight a guy, good chance that fight ain't gonna happen, y'all. And if it does, it's gonna be too little, too late. Yeah, man. So I was disappointed. I was very disappointed in that, man. I was very disappointed that, but I got Canelo as my number one, pound for pound, no doubt about it. I think he did what he had to do, and he became undisputed. Got the boxing lounge in the building. What's up, man? What's going on, Tommy? Well, we had him in here for a minute. There he is.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh yeah, sorry, my mic wasn't in the right position. So I haven't seen the. I haven't. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen the fight yet.
Oh, okay.
But I've got a question or a couple of questions. If he's cleared up at 168, he's done something. Well, first of all, he's done something that Floyd hasn't done. And the next thing is, because of his dimensions, is he going to be fighting at a weight too high if he decides to campaign at 175?
Maybe. And with his dimensions, that's what you got to give him props for. With being 5'7" at 168 is a hell of a feat, man. No matter who you're in there with. So I mean, and to get the late stoppages, and he's campaigned at 175 already. So yeah, and he's got undisputed. That is something that Floyd did not have. Those are all facts. Yeah. So yeah, I don't disagree with you. And if he goes to 175, I always felt like Bivol would give him the most trouble. A lot of people believe Better Beef to each stay on. You know, I think standing and trading with this guy is kind of what he wants. So if given the opportunity, I think he could pull. I think he could beat Better Beef. I think Better Beef also has a shot of beating him because I don't think. I think Better Beef just hits really hard, tight inside mid-range fighter, and he can box too as well. I just feel like that foot movement by Bivol will change the game, and Bivol don't have to be slick in there. He could just pop in and out. I think that would benefit him in the fight. I really do. And just be himself. He don't have to make changes. He don't have to fight a perfect fight against Canelo. And his power didn't. It showed at the end of the fight, but during the fight, he wasn't doing too much. You know, he picks his spots. And I think if that was Bivol on the other end, this is just my take. At 175, it may be too big because I feel like Bivol would be doing damage within them rounds, like busting him up. That's not going to be a plant punch coming at him. It's going to be harder.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong, man. He might wipe him out for all I know. I'm just saying, just from my take, how looking at everything from the eye test, I think that would be the fight that he would probably want to skip over and, believe it or not, go for the Better Beef fight first.
Yeah, well, the thing is about moving up another weight division. It means you're carrying more weight, which means that you're in a more of an oxygen debt because of the more weight that you're carrying. So it'll affect your output as well.
Yeah, and his output didn't seem too high in the fight. Like he picked it up later, which was cool to see too. That he kind of just coasted in the first couple of rounds and then picked it up later on, or maybe Caleb slowed down. I'm not sure, but yeah, fighting at a higher weight does bog you down a bit. But you can keep in mind as well, though, you don't have to make 175 to fight 175. You could come in lower whenever you could come in just about any weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Manny did it against not Mayorga. Who was the tall one he fought? Was it Mayorga? No, not Mayorga. The guy who got a replacement eye. He was in the Glove Gate drama with Cotto. I can't remember his name though. The
Oh,
one
you
Manny
talking about?
fought at
Oh,
light
you talking
middleweight.
about Margarito?
Yes, Margarito, yes. Because
Yes.
Manny came in, what, 149 for that fight or something?
Yeah. That's it. That's what I'm saying is you could come in. So he could come in at 169 and fight a
Mm-hmm.
175 guy. You know, if that's the case, you know. So I don't see that being an issue if he stays small and he takes advantage of being small as well. He didn't use much of his head movement in the first 4 rounds. I noticed that. I noticed that in the fight. He didn't use his
But
head movement. He was getting tagged.
did he need to though?
Well, he was giving rounds like there was rounds going like Caleb Plant was. I had Caleb Plant up on the scorecard prior
Oh,
to the
fair enough.
stoppage. Yeah, it was
Oh,
pretty. I don't
oh,
want to give too
okay.
much away. Yeah, but
Spoiler
yeah,
alert.
if you want to watch it, I'm not, a couple of guys don't. What I mean, I think Aobs as well. But yeah, it was a very, very, very close fight. I got a lot of respect for Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez because, like I said, I think people skip over the fact that this guy is fighting at 168 and had jumped up to 175, and he's so tiny in stature, not
Mm-hmm.
size, but just in stature with reach. He has a short reach. I'm not even sure if he has a 70-inch reach, to be honest with you. He closes the distance well when he wants to, but yeah, to compete with these guys that are so much bigger than him is a feat within itself, like Mike Tyson's type style. You know what I mean? Where he could
Mm-hmm.
use the head movement, but if he used the head movement a little sooner, maybe he didn't want to burn himself out. I'm pretty sure they both had game plans.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it was surprising to see him pull it out when he did. But yeah, he seemed to need to get loose. I gave Plant the first 4 rounds. I'm not sure what the commentators were watching, but I guess everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But yeah, he
Was it
was he was he was doing very well, very well.
was it 9
Canelo
rounds
wants
it
to
went?
stern with him as well. What's that?
Was it 9? How many rounds did it go?
I think it went 11.
Oh, 11? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it went 11 rounds. It went 11 rounds and it got the stoppage, but it seemed like towards the middle of the fight, Canelo just turned it around. I gave him the fifth. It could have went either way. And then I gave him the sixth. I had seventh, 10-10. I hate to do that, but I had two 10-10 rounds in that fight. I also made, I also had a round 10, a 10-10 fight. But it could have went either way. So if someone had Canelo or Plant pulling it off, I wouldn't
Yeah,
argue with
swing
them.
rounds.
Yeah, I had two swing rounds that I just couldn't decide who won those rounds because they both did a lot of good work. Hell of a fight, man. Hell of a fight. Very entertaining if you're a boxer fan. If you're a Canelo fan, you're gonna get what you want out of it. If you're a fanboy, if you're a fanboy for Caleb Plant, you're gonna get what you want out of it. So everybody wins in that fight, no doubt about it.
Right. But let me ask this, right? Because the whole confusion over undisputed now with the WBC. If Canelo is undisputed, I'm assuming he has the regular WBC belt.
Yes, I think he
And
dropped his franchise.
Oh, okay. So that means no one's got a franchise at 168.
Right. And if he
Okay,
does,
cool.
he's probably. I'm pretty sure he wasn't using it because he went for the WBC, the regular WBC.
Mm-hmm.
But I did hear some stuff people talking about. I think last night somebody mentioned that he went in there and when he got the WBC because they kind of just gave the winner of what was it, the Plant fight, the WB. No, not the Callum Smith fight, the WBC. It was just kind of like up for grabs because that's when Benavidez lost it to the scales, which is on him. But you
So
didn't hear
vacant, yeah.
much, right? You didn't hear much about uh you didn't hear much about Canelo campaigning at 168 until Benavidez was out of the picture. Those are facts. He said, "Oh well, I won't fight Benavidez," and then when Benavidez lost the belt, he went there and took it from him. I mean, took the belt, which is, I mean, he earned it, but it was
But he
pretty much
didn't
up
win
for
it.
grabs.
He didn't win
Yeah,
it from a champion.
right. So, well, he won. Yeah, he didn't win it from the specific WBC champion, but he did win from a champion because Callum Smith was a champion at 168. So
Yeah.
yeah, they maneuver some things to make it work. But hey, man, he got it though, and he got nothing but dubs at 168. So I'm not gonna hate on him for that. And he fucking made history. And like I said, man, to compete at that weight class with those dimensions is a feat within itself. So, and he got a fucking stoppage of a guy who came to fight last night, who was
Mm.
giving it his all, and caught him with a fucking clean punch out the blue and made the shit work, man. And then and Canelo is a finisher as well, because on the way down he
Mm.
caught him with the uppie, and then caught him with like a right hand, and he got up, but it wasn't. He was all over the place. He went from one end of the ring to the other end of the ring. It was like good. Then just kind of folded up, and he didn't have no legs. And he was ready to get up again. He probably would have got up again, but it was inevitable. There was probably too much time in the round, if I could remember correct. Because like I said, I couldn't rewind the shit, which sucked. Because if you could pay for it, the least you should be able to do is rewind the motherfucker.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
All right, he's got all the straps now. What are the chances that he's actually going to defend undisputed once, at least once?
I don't know. I would like to see him and Benavidez fight. I think Benavidez don't have to make too many adjustments. He could just be himself. I think he's that talented. Um, I feel like Benavidez don't have to make, just kind of, work on his stamina, make weight. You know what I mean? Stay clean and get his shit together, because I think he's a talented guy. And those speedy hands, uh, they'll get him through the day. I mean, you can have a lot of head movement, but those hands is really quick, man. You could still get tagged. You could still get tagged, And so, I mean, I think him and Bibble will be the biggest test for Canelo if he decides to go that way, because technically he ain't got to do shit right now. He just finished undisputed. He could do whatever the fuck he wants to do. So if he decides to defend, that'd be cool. But he did make a feat, man. This dude's won multiple fucking championships and multiple fucking divisions, and and topped it off with a cherry on top with being undisputed at 168. So from 54 to 55 to 160.
No, 54, Canelo weight, 160.
Yeah. 54, 55, 160, 168, and 175.
Oh yeah, don't forget 164.5. That was not Chavez. Oh, that was Chavez, that fight, wasn't it? 164.5.
But with the catch weights, you can't fight for titles.
You can.
Really? Well, that's funny, because I know when he was fighting the catch weights, none of them were for titles at 55. Or the titles weren't on the line.
Oh no, I think his last fight at 55, that was for. Oh, hold on a minute. Or maybe that was him trying to negotiate with Triple G. That's what I'm
Into a
remembering.
long one. That's the only debate I lost. I got into a long debate with Nyota. Shout out to Nyota. But yeah, he pulled it. He pulled off the dub, and I gave him props in my next live. Yeah, Nyota's the one guy who got me in the debate. All these other debates, some people might have thought that I lost, but that was bullshit. I was stating facts. They were dick riding. You know what I'm saying? On the people's chant. On the people's chant. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say though, I gotta say, and I gotta draw with unbiased. I think we're 1-1-1. That's it. That's it. That's all I got going on. Everybody else got flabbergasted. They got flambashed. I just made that up. You're gonna flambash people. True verse curl. But all bullshit aside, yeah, I was very entertained, man. I was very entertained with that. I was very entertained with the fight, and I give them both props, man. I give them both props, and I gotta give it up, man. Canelo fans came out, boy. They came out. Yo, Plant was getting booed after he left the podium, to coming into the fight, during the fight, and then when he left the fight, I'm like, why you gonna boo this man? I'm like, yo, after the fight, you gonna boo him? That's when I was just like, yeah, man, these ain't boxing fans.
I don't know.
These ain't boxing fans, man. If you booed him after the fight, it's like, come on, man, that was a hell of a feat, man. Like he put on a hell of a show for not being in there with no elites. He was piecing Canelo up, but then got the big, I don't even know, like 2 3 piece, man, and a chicken dinner finished him. Got him fuck up out of there, man, and then poured some soda on him and was like, take that with you. Yeah, so it was a hell of a fight, man. I got all the entertainment out of that fight that I wanted, and I got an undisputed champion as a boxing fan. So hey, shout out to Canelo Alvarez, and
Yeah,
big ups to Caleb Plant. I hope he comes back. That's the first time he ever been down, considering the competition, though. You know,
was he
yeah,
down twice? Did you say?
yeah. He was down twice. The second time he went down, dude just stopped it. He was like, "That's it. This it. We're not gonna do that." And he warned Canelo, so the ref wasn't too biased in the fight. He warned Canelo for a low blow, even though Caleb had pulled his head down a little bit. He warned Canelo, told him he can't do that shit. Canelo looked at him like, "Yo, do you know who I am?
Yeah,
You
I'm
do
the
know
cash cow.
you gotta leave this ring, man. Nobody here likes you. You can't say nothing about me." Yeah, real talk. Like they was out, man. They was out. His fans was out. It was a good fight, very entertaining. Like I said, I got my money's worth. And if y'all didn't watch it, man, you guys gonna be extremely entertained. The undercard on paper was hot trash, but they weren't bad fighters, bad fights, man, and some good stoppages. And guys were getting tested. I think Jarrell got tested as well with his comeback fight, and so did Elvis. He got tested, but came off with the big dub as well. With Freddie Roach in his corner. You know what I mean? He can't handle your speed, son. You know, and he
Mhm.
went in there and he did his thing, man. So shout
W-
out to Elvis.
Which one of
I enjoy watching that guy fight. Elvis Rodriguez. Uh,
which one of the Jarrell brothers were
oh,
fighting?
it was Anthony. I don't think Andre's fought, which I think is
He's the older
more.
one, isn't he?
I think he may be younger, but he was the more like he was in the Super Six and shit.
Oh no, no, no. I've got them confused. Then I was thinking of the other one that's older.
Oh yeah, but I know Andre was the talented of them, but I guess he was kind of done after the time he got hit when he hit on the ground. He was never quite the same after that. But that
Oh,
dude
you
could
talking
box.
about Arthur Abraham?
When Abraham caught him, he was never the same after that. He emotionally, I think he was probably it affected him. You know, when you're a champion and you reach certain heights and then you get stopped, even he thought he got stopped, you know, and it fucked with his head. So you gotta have a supportive team behind you. But he ain't never really come back, and he was a talented guy. He could box his ass off. Got some good stoppages as well. Rocked a couple of the
You give
top
Carl
guys.
Froch a very good fight.
Yeah, yep. That's another one as well. Yep. And did that went all 12, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a disputed decision. A lot of people thought that Jarrell won that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Super Six, that was entertaining. No, they could continue to do stuff like that, man. I would love to see that shit in the welterweight division and throw fucking Boots and fucking and and, and Virgil in there. You know what I mean? Throw Boots and
Hmm.
Virgil in there, and then there's a couple other young guys in the welterweight divisions that are making moves. You know what I mean? And you can have like the champions in there, and they'll fight at the end. You know what I mean? Like a playoff, man, like a playoff, and let the young guys get their work in because Boots is a bad man. So is Virgil Ortiz. Both, I feel proven. You know what I'm saying? I think from the eye test, you got to give it to Boots, but from getting in there, Virgil Ortiz, man, he been in there. He beat Mean Machine. And it's funny too because a lot of the people were saying that a lot of the fans of guys are like Virgil Ortiz was saying that Bud got exposed by Mean Machine, and the exact same thing happened to Virgil.
Hmm.
But he he's young. I'm like, it's the same thing, bro. He made the adjustments. He got that man out of there. You know,
Well, it's part of getting your stripes, isn't it?
mm-hmm. It is, and I
It's
think
part of the journey.
they sleep on that guy, man. Meat Machine, Meat Machine's a bad motherfucker. You know, that dude could fight, man. And for about good 7-8 rounds, man, you in there with champion status, and then boom. But also, Bud got him when he was undefeated. So I mean, I like Bud. I like Bud in the welterweight division, but Boots and Virgil Ortiz are definitely forces to be reckoned with on the come up.
How many years do you think Bud's got left?
Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Maybe more though, because he's always in the gym. He don't do drugs.
he's
You
clean.
know, he could have that longevity like Hopkins did, for all we know. And when you take the game serious, you know you improve. Canelo Alvarez also, you know what I mean? Like he's got some years left, and he can keep his shit going for a while too, because he's not taking a lot of damage in them fights as well. So till he moves to 175, then you know it's gonna be a little. It could be a lot rockier. But if you're not taking the damage and you're taking you're taking the shit serious and you're training constantly and you got your head in the game and you're eating right, you can have an extremely long career considered in boxing, and then fly off into the sunset, man, and do your thing, and just become. He just pulled off the undisputed, so he's in the history books for sure. So I mean, yeah, he could.
Is he 30 yet?
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure because he started when he was what, 15?
Well, he fought Mosley when he was 20 or 21, something like that, wasn't it?
I think he was older than Caleb, which surprised me as well. They said 2 years older. I don't know. I could look it up though.
No, I can do it now.
They don't got him. Yeah, they don't. They don't have him. I know on BoxRec they don't have Canelo as Canelo. They got him as Saul.
Because I think Canelo's his middle name, isn't it?
Yeah. Cinnamon, I believe. Is it BoxRec right here?
31.
31. Yeah, so he still got some time. He got 60 fights, bro.
That's insane. He's got to have a bit of wear on his ligaments and joints at this point.
Well, he used
all
to
that
have,
training.
Well, he had the knee problems, and that don't seem to be an issue anymore. He don't wear those braces and shit that he used to wear. So
yeah, that's good point.
When you put in the work, and I mean, you can get over injuries and come out stronger. It's possible if you're extremely focused and you ain't beating up on yourself and you just working hard to get where you got to go and getting the proper rest. And I'm pretty sure he got the formula down. Same with yeah, same with no pun intended. But same with Bud Crawford, man. These guys are always in shape. They're in shape off season. They're ready. They got one foot in the door. And that's the way you got to do it if you want to be a fighter. If you want to be a professional fighter or a professional athlete at all, you got to have one foot in the door because you can't just turn it on and off. Your body is going to be harder and harder, and your body's going to switch up on you last minute. Like, yeah, okay, now you old. That's the old overnight thing right there. You know what I mean? When you stop putting.
To be fair, though, I think getting a beating ages you quicker than most things.
Yeah, well,
what it does to your nervous system, the reaction times, that sort of thing.
But you look at guys, look at guys like Sean Porter. This dude been in wars. Some people just built like that. They can take it, and he's always in shape. Another guy who's always in shape, and it don't seem to affect him in his next fights. Porter comes in there and he's 110%. I'm saying, playing it by the numbers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure wars will destroy fighters, but some people just built different. And like I said,
yes, it takes some people longer to crack. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, man. I think the will is a powerful, underestimated thing in the human body. So
Do you remember the boxer? What was his name? Was it Tex-Mex? The guy
yeah,
who fought.
Tex Cobbs.
Yeah, Tex Cobb. Sorry, what am I talking about? Tex-Mex. Yeah, that guy. He took an insane. It was an inhuman beating that guy took, but eventually he got knocked out by a nobody.
Yeah, yeah, it's
But
true.
he went
And
12 rounds with Larry Holmes at his peak.
he went 12 rounds
And
with a lot of guys. He was
yeah,
he
that's
was
true.
literally a human punching bag that had to. And he was a star, right? He was an actor as well.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this dude, and I guess he's a smart guy. You ever see him do his interviews? He's fucking hilarious as well. That dude's funny as shit. Yeah, Tex Cobbs, man, he was just one of those guys that was like, I'll fight him. Get up off the bar stool and just go in there. He just built different, get up off the bar stool, like, let's go. And you like, damn, I'm gonna hit this motherfucker with everything but the kitchen sink, and he's still coming. Like, let's go. Oh, face all busted. And some scary motherfuckers, man. And some scary motherfuckers. And but the fight last night, it was funny because you can tell that Canelo was putting power on them shots, but they weren't having a lot of effect until later, till that left hook landed. Oh my God, what the fuck? He rocked him. He did everything right. He just caught him with it. You know, he did everything right. He had his right hand up. Caleb Plant did, but he caught him
Mhm.
and when he caught him, his head was outside of his hand, so his hand was his placement was a little off. But he probably
Mhm.
a lot of the hooks were going behind his head earlier in the fight, and then they went to the front of his head and his hand. That's what he does. He's
Mhm.
setting them traps. He was setting them traps, and he made it work. He made it work, and he got the dub, man. So yeah, shout out to him and Tex Cobbs as well for all the beatings that he took for the entertainment of the boxing fans.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, all the beatings that man took. Oh, good God, there's a lot of guys like that though, man. In the lighter weight classes, they just go in there and you can't get them gone. Like you
Mm.
hit them with everything, man. I've been in there with a few guys like that. I was like, Jesus, how much punishment can you take? Like, because I was taught if they could eat it, keep feeding them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was taught. Like, just keep feeding them motherfuckers. You feed him. Go ahead, eat it till they full. And I gave this one kid some shit, and I was like, good God, this dude. I mean, he looked the state of his face was all types of fucked up. I was like, Jesus. Started worrying me a little bit. I was like, this motherfucker keep coming. I said, damn, I put some heavy shit on him. Finally,
Are
kind
you
of just
talking sparring?
well, we fought with our hands.
Oh, right. Okay.
But there was no wrestling. But yeah, he was a tough motherfucker. Shit. I mean, and if it would have went a little longer, he probably would have got me because I was like, I was getting tired of beating him. I was like, I don't think he touched me. I think he might have touched me once. I was like, holy shit, this dude built different. You know what I'm saying? Some people little bricks, man. Some
You could
people
have Homer
bricks.
Simpsoned you.
Yeah, my hands was hurting and everything. I was like, shit. I never had that problem. I was like, one got the forehead though. I set him up. I set a trap and caught him with a hook, and he ducked down, and I caught him right in the forehead, full force, bam. And I was like, oh. I felt that shit. I felt my wrist like But yeah, tough head. But shout out to that guy too. Shit. All bullshit aside though. But yeah, it was entertaining, man. Enough about me, man. Fuck that. Let's talk about these fucking fighters, man. So what do you think? Who do you think is gonna come out on top as the welterweights? Do you think it's gonna be out of the young guys? Like who do you think is gonna be the best out of the two young guys, Virgil and Boots?
I'm going to have to come back to you with an answer because I've been out of the loop. So I've only been following the absolute biggest fights. So I don't actually know.
It's actually a tough question, almost a trick question, because I think Boots can probably get the big names, and I'm not. I mean, or Virgil can probably get the big names, and I'm not sure if Boots will. I think people are going to be sliding out the back door on his ass.
I mean, apart from those two, I mean, is there anyone else worth
Yeah,
considering?
there's a
Or
few. There's a few. I can't think of them off top, but yeah, there's a few guys in the welterweight division that are pretty bad. I'll know that, like I know their names, but I gotta see them. Yeah, I'm a face guy. So I'm like, yeah, that's how I identify folks. But yeah, like it's funny. Yeah, there's some good talent in the welterweight division and at 140, which probably gonna move up. I'm not sure what weight Antoine Russell is fighting, but that guy, I like him. I don't think people pay enough attention to that kid. Yeah, that he's a monster. He's a monster.
what division do you think he might be at, though?
You know what? I could find out. Shit. Let me find out real quick.
Is he a little guy? That is.
Yeah, he's little. Well, his brother is Gary Russell.
Oh, okay.
But I think I think he's a great fighter, man. He's fun to watch too. He got skills, and he's also got. Let's see what they got him listed at 5'10". No fucking way. Is he 5'10"? So Boxing Rex out here cutting up. Super lightweight. So he's
Super
140.
lightweight.
Yeah, he's 140. He's 14-0 with 14 knockouts.
Oh yeah, super.
14-0 with 14 knockouts. His last opponent was 14-1. He beat a guy 14-2. He beat a guy 20-4, 16-3, and then 9-2, 10-2, 4-0. But then he got
Has he
a
picked up any
couple
minor belts yet?
No belts that I could see on
Nope.
here.
Okay.
None.
Phone's
But he
gone
just
to
beat Giovanni Santiago, who was 14-1. And yeah, but he I guess he stopped the guy. And he also beat Boots in the amateurs 3 out of 4 times. And the dude is short. No way he's 5'10". This got to be wrong. Has to be. There's no way this guy's 5'10". He's a short guy. You know, I think Boots is like 5'10".
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think Boots is 5'10" though. Good morning, Mr. Finkley. I'm gonna hit some of the comments. I'm gonna go back, y'all. Some of them I missed. I never scored it, but I thought Canelo was up on the cards. Only my opinion. Hey, yeah, man. If you thought he was up, you thought he was up. You know, it is what it is. But I mean, sometimes when you're watching them fights, man, them commentators, they can persuade your, you know, when sometimes I hear them commentators talking, my eyes are telling me something different. I just listen to, I listen to my eyes. I'm like, you know what? You know what I mean? I you know what I mean? Shit, I hear colors and see sounds. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, yeah, I just see it like that. I wasn't listening to the commentators, and I was just watching the fight. I was just kind of block them out. I listen to them for certain shit, and some of the highlights. You know how when it goes that route when they're showing the highlights, they're only showing the highlights after the end of the round of what one guy did. They did a lot of that. I'm not saying it wasn't a close fight. If somebody had him up, like I said, I had it close. I'm not gonna be mad at it. I just felt like the commentators were being a bit biased. You know what I'm saying? Single clubs, I just sub to you. What's up? Something happened? You good? Sound disappointed. We got Finkley in the building. We got Jerron in the building. LeRon, my bad. Why did I put a J in front of that? I don't know. Well, fighting Canelo doesn't even seem genuine to the PBC roster boxers. Charlo scared to fight Demetrius Andre. Yeah, they said that he is probably going to fight Charlo or Benavidez. Both not bad fights. I don't have a problem even either one of them fights though. Real talk. Says I was at the casino blacking out playing blackjack last night. Only seen the 11th round. Dramatic so far, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was good. It was good. It was a good fight. It was worth a watch, man. Worth a watch. Worth a watch. Shout out to both of those guys for putting on a hell of a show. Boxing is back. We got a lot of great fighters doing great things, man. We got Tio and Haney might happen now. You know what I'm saying? We might get that fight. A true undisputed 135 champion. I like the way they're talking, but let's see how they both walking. Because one seems to be dragging JoJo seems to be dragging his feet to get in that Haney fight with Devada. And from what Tio is saying, Haney dragging his feet to petition for that fight. Probably go for the franchise title, but you could just go for the franchise title and then probably dump that shit. Because once you become undisputed, what you going? Well, unless of course you want to move up to 140, then that franchise title might benefit you when you move up to get a shot at the top guy. And it could go all the way south for Tio, or it could go all the way south for Haney. You know what I mean? I think a loss, Haney's loss, would be more devastating than Teal's loss because I think Teal could come back from that, and I think Haney's just, banking on that WBC title. So if he takes that loss, I'm not sure. Maybe things will open up. I don't know. Maybe. You know what I mean? You know how it is when difficult fighters take losses, opportunities seem to show up. You know what I mean? Because people feel that there's a blueprint, but it could just be the dudes fighting the wrong style or just did the wrong things, man. The game plan was wrong. But I was truly entertained. But I want to tell Black if in the playback, listen, man, Derek James deserves flame shame. He deserves flame shame. Maybe I'll come up with one and call it the truth hurt slap. The truth slap. Because that shit that he was saying about Sean Porter is hot horse shit. And we don't do horse shit. That was horse shit, dude. Come on, man. And then talking about fighting Porter. Calling him once and then talking about fighting him. That's just bad. That's bad business. That tells you that the horse shit meter is on fucking fire.
Do you smell it? That smell. The kind of smell.
Instances of bullshit like this are on the rise.
Horse shit.
Shit, that's like killing some shit twice, man.
What's going on, Big Lee?
Yo, what up? What up, 1-2 kid?
What up, man? So you watched just the 11th, huh?
Yeah, I got tired of typing. I just was going to just come in and just talk to you live and direct. Yeah, I only saw like the 11th round highlights this morning because I was out gambling all night, man, losing money.
Yeah. Oh,
one of them nights, bro.
Oh, you ain't bet on Plant, did you?
I was actually looking at the kiosk. No, you know what? I looked at the kiosk in the casino, but it didn't really have no favor to that. Like, it was just like, why even bet on the fight? It was weird, the kiosk. I couldn't really figure it out.
Yeah, I hear you. Why even bet on the fight? Because I think if you bet on Canelo and you bet a G, you'd win 100.
Exactly. Like now, who's gonna do that? Like, that's just stupid. Like, I wouldn't want to do that.
If you bet on Plant, it was 6-1. So if you bet, you would have made out like a champ. We got the man in. We got the man in here. We got the man, Mr. Iron Kong. What's going on, Kong?
Yo, I'm good. What up, Ronald? How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing better now. I had 200 and I won 1,200 at the blackjack machine, the sit down machine. Ooh. And my buddy kept telling me to keep playing. If you keep winning, keep playing. I lost all of that back.
Oh man.
I should have
listen to your buddy. Listen to your gut. Get the fuck out of there.
Your buddy owe you 1,200, man.
Yeah, he kept saying you might as well just keep playing. I'm like, man, I'm bugging. So I had fun though.
He should have gave you some money to play with. Yeah, man. What up? Hey, I gotta take this picture down. Jojo Diaz got cornered into taking the fight. So
they said he's dragging his feet though for that bottle testing.
What?
Yeah, that's what Haney said. He said he dragging Jojo dragging his feet. He was like, "Yo, why are you dragging his feet?"
That's crazy.
Oh
know what I mean?
man. So they saying JoJo Diaz ain't signing the contract? Is that what y'all saying?
Nah, submit the VADA testing, like
He's
submit
not
the
enrolling. He's not
some shit.
enrolling yet. He's from what Black Horseman was saying. He said he's not enrolling. So, and what Haney said, he said he's dragging his feet when it comes to VADA testing. We should have been done.
No,
Got
but
this done.
I'm sure I saw VADA release something on Twitter that says congratulations to Haney and JoJo Diaz for enrolling in VADA.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying,
Oh, cool.
you know what I mean? Bigger necks don't, equate to bigger checks, y'all. So, you know what I mean? You're rolling that Bada because Bada is like a parole officer. They're going to pull up on your ass.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how
yeah.
these dudes be treating them, man. They were like, yo, Bada coming.
But
Put
hey,
that
yo,
shit away.
let me just get it out quick because I'm on the way to the beach with the kids. So
No,
yeah, man. So I watched I watched some highlights of the Plant Canelo fight. It went about how I thought it would go. You know,
Yeah,
Caleb Plant's gonna do what he do. He gonna try and do a lot of movement and all that and all that. And Canelo gonna walk him. Canelo's not doing all this lot of stuff with you, man. He not trying to do all that nonsense that my guy Femi tried to do with Usyk, try to do all this head faking and all this other shit. He not doing all this shit with you. He
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
pass out later on in the mid rounds, and I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna work your
yeah.
body for a little bit. That's the same thing he did with Billy Joe Saunders. Same thing Billy Joe was. I'm gonna do movement. You know what I mean? You know, hit a jab, move, do all this, and all that movement is gonna catch up on you. You know, because I'm gonna body shot you. I'm gonna walk you down
Yep.
and all that.
It
So
was a lot more competitive. Maybe you should check out the fight. It was a lot more competitive than I thought it would be. And
no, hey, you know, it probably was, but I mean, that's cool, man.
I had
I'm
planned up prior to the stoppage.
yeah, that's
Like
cool.
I'm
Yeah, I
just saying,
mean,
I was impressed, man. I was impressed by both guys.
no,
Uh,
from what I saw on Twitter, a lot of people have planned up, but
yeah.
I think Canelo expected that Plant would kind of be up, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
does the same thing in these fights where he kind of understands, okay, I'm gonna have to catch this dude in the middle rounds, later rounds. I'm gonna have to catch this dude because all that movement and all that shit you're doing, shucking and jiving you're doing,
Right. It's
you're
gonna
gonna
get.
wear down.
Yeah, it's gonna wear down. But you know what? What that wasn't the case.
Okay.
He got caught. He got caught,
Ooh.
man. He got caught, and that's what changed the game, right? What changed the game is he got caught with a left hook, and
Mm.
that was it. That's the only thing that changed the outcome of the fight.
If
Honestly,
I'm if I'm
yeah.
Caleb Plant, I want a rematch. Damn that.
Well, I
yo,
doubt
what?
that.
Yo,
I
1-2
think
kid. Let me ask you this though. Like from what I seen in the 11th round, it looked like Plant was fighting backwards, like scared, like he was scared to engage. Was the whole fight like that?
nah, he wasn't afraid to engage. He was catching him with the right hand. He was landing body shots. He was landing his jab. He was trading with him at times. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was not what you with nah, man. You watch the whole fight. You want to watch the whole fight because anyone can doctor that shit to make it look one sided. And nothing about that fight was one sided. Even if you had Canelo winning up to that point, that was not a one sided fight at all. And Reynoso even was showing concern. Come on, why ain't you doing this? Why ain't you doing that? Do what we did in the gym. He had to get Canelo up because I think, like I said, Canelo's a proud man. So he want to do what the crowd want him to do, and he want to look good. So you want to, if you fighting him, that's what you want to do. You want to kind of clown him a little bit, and then it make him get out of his game plan. But he got a good coach in there to keep his head on straight, and he pulled the best out of him. Reynoso pulled the best out of him. So that's how I seen it. That's just raw and uncut from what I seen it from my eyes. So it was a
yeah,
good fight, man. It was a very entertaining fight. I enjoyed it very much,
Well, that's
very much.
nice. I'm glad to hear that. Caleb Plant can now go back to fighting nobody, and he has $10 million. Him and his fine wife should be happy with that. So I mean, the PBC plan works, right? So what they're gonna do, they're gonna hopefully get Jamal off the hot dog carousel, keeping him warm for Canelo, and hopefully get another pay-per-view out to this next year. Jamal, because as we said, 1-2K, it's like they're keeping these dudes on the hot dog carousel, just kind of keeping them warm until somebody chooses that stale hot dog from the gas station, and because they're not trying to risk fighting somebody else, so these dudes are just being kept warm, bro. But I'm just saying, like, I think Canelo would do Jamal real dirty. I think he'll beat him up real bad, and that'll be Canelo's easiest work at 168.
Really?
Outside of Triple G moving up. I don't think
Damn.
I think Jamal Charlo, because Jamal Charlo could be better because he doesn't fight nobody, because he's so inactive. Because he's
Right.
these dudes is not ready. They're just on this hot dog carousel being kept warm. Al Heyman like just stay there, stay there. We're not gonna take you off for no Andre. We're not gonna take you off for Benavidez. Just stay there, and Canelo gonna pick you because he need another fight. So I think Jamal should be his next tune-up. That's my opinion.
Well, Benavidez is also in the conversation. Hopefully, we can get maybe one of that as well. I would like to see that. I did feel like Caleb had to fight a perfect fight, and he damn near did. I didn't see the stamina issues that I had seen prior. So I mean, he did what he had to do, but he got caught, and that's boxing, and that's Canelo. He's setting the traps all the way. He's always setting traps. He's not, gonna fold up. But I do feel like that I was gonna do a game plan for both fighters, and they both kind of just did everything that I said, and they both fought their fight, and nobody really dictated that fight. So they both did them, and when two guys are doing themselves in the ring, that's when you get your best entertaining fights. And I think that's what we got. We got some boxing, we got some slugging, we got a little bit of everything in that fight. So I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that as a boxer fan. No doubt about it. That was fun. That was a fun fight, man. The Mexicans went crazy. They were like, yeah, Viva la Mexico! And he got the stoppage. Yo, yeah, Caleb going from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring. I was like, shit.
Yeah, those punches didn't seem as flush as like how he hit Billy Joe Saunders.
Oh,
like,
right, exactly. I didn't see that as well. It was like he was trying to kill him with them shots. But there was mutual respect in the ring. You could see that as well. Once that fight got going, they both realized that the other guy wasn't going to be no pushover. Like he wasn't just going to box Canelo and just get away with certain shit. He's going to have to work for it. And Canelo was like, yeah, this a little tricky motherfucker right here. He was catching him with that same shit Floyd was catching him with, that right hand. He pulled back, boom, and catch him with that right hand. So I was like, but like I said, like there were moments where he just, that's what you got to do. You got to play, you got to put his pride, borderline arrogance, use that shit against him. You got to make him want to kill you. You know what I mean? Because then he forgets to set traps and shit like that. And he got the crowd on his side. So when he kind of get clowned or gets hit with a good shot, you know what I mean? He knows he needs that get back, and he gonna come for it. So you want to use that against him, pot shot him, and move after you do it. And he did all that shit. I was shocked to see it, like the fight go how I was, like if they came in and did what I thought that they should do, they did it, both of them. And I was like, although Canelo started really slow, real slow. It didn't even look like him the first 2 rounds. I was like, who's this guy?
Yeah, I heard somebody say that he didn't throw no punches like the first 4 rounds or something.
Canelo. He was just kind of like, and then I'm thinking maybe he just wants this guy to, get his shots off, but it wasn't the case. He just turned it on. What's going on, Troy? Long time no see, man.
Troy Graham.
Respect and big up. I have no idea who I'm talking to.
That's 1-2 Kid.
1-2 Kid.
Oh, respect. Yeah, I don't see any names on here. That's why I said that.
Oh, well,
we're incognito. It's underground. You was UGC Flame, bro. Underground.
Yo, what up, Troy Graham? What up, man?
Respect.
You enjoyed the fight last night?
I didn't even watch it yet, man.
Man, nobody watched it.
I didn't even watch it yet, but I'll watch it later on the day. But I do have a question, or why does Charlo's name keep coming up? He's that boy that cries wolf. Fights at
Yeah.
160 and always says he could make 168, but he's not going to. Kind of like when he told, David Benavidez, I would fight you, but you're 25.
He
And
look
what
like,
the hell?
you know what? He looked like he's shriveling down too, Troy Graham, because I think that
Yeah.
Demetrius Andrade is more bigger than him. If you ask me, looking at them now, I think Demetrius Andrade is more of a natural 168 than Jamal Charlo is. Like, just for
Yeah.
me, you know.
Yeah. I'm just curious as to why his name keeps coming up when people talk about Alvarez and all that. Alvarez made, he made history last night, and I'm glad that it was him that won. And I'm gonna tell you why. I have nothing against Plant because I didn't know him prior to his last fight, right? Because see, Alvarez's story is already written, and all you have to do is just keep adding on to it. If Plant would have won, then you would have to build Plant up. Who does he fight next? Anthony Durrell or somebody like that? Or, does he get a rematch? And then he would have to do all that nonsense. So I'm glad it was Alvarez where you don't have to do all that. You could just plug him in with David Benavidez. Maybe he goes up to lightweight. Who knows, right?
Right. But I think Iron Kong said it best. He said, well, he probably gonna get a tune up with with Charlo. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but why not? Why not? I'm not mad at that fight, to be honest with you. If the fight does happen, I think it's gonna sell. I think Canelo gonna pull it off, but I think it'll be entertaining. One thing I will say about Charlo is for all the shitty moves he be making outside of the ring, he comes to fight when he's in the ring. And I think that's what it's all about. When we finally get these guys in the ring, then it's not a bad fight. I would definitely watch it. You wouldn't watch it, Troy?
Honestly, it's boxing, so I would watch it, or I would get around to watch it. But the fight I would rather see is David Benavidez.
Oh, me too.
That would be much more easier to make. He's at his weight class already.
Yeah, that's a true statement too, because I think Benavidez, I don't see him having to fight a perfect fight other than just doing him constantly. Like, he don't have to make a lot of adjustments. His hand speed speaks for itself. He's got good power. He's a big guy. He's rangy as shit. I think he can work on his footwork, but he plants his feet to let them flurries go. So we'll see. We'll see. I think it'll be an entertaining fight for as long as it lasts, because I think someone definitely going to sleep in that fucking fight or getting beat the fuck up.
And David's a good talker, man. He knows how to sell his fight. I did an interview with him on Major Key Boxing. He's a good talker, man, and he's very honest. He spoke about how he lost his title on the scale and some other business that lost him the title. So he's an honest cat. I guarantee you he trained like he never trained before for this one.
Yeah, well, yeah, make that weight, man. Don't be bullshitting. Like, that's it. If he don't make weight for that fight, man, shit, man, that'll be fucking awful. But it's not like he can have anything to lose. He probably still get the fight.
But I gotta say though, I don't like the idea of PBC keeping these dudes on the hot dog carousel, hoping Canelo picks one. I don't like that. These dudes gotta start fighting each other, man. We need the fights outside. Canelo said he's not gonna fight till May. You understand me? So that means there's a lot of room for y'all to start putting on fights for fans. You can't just be, holding yourself on a hot dog carousel, on the goddamn shish kebab rack, hoping that 10, I'll get the next $10 million or whatever. We want to see other fights too.
So what you saying is the PBC need to put these boys on mandatory overtime. You gotta get that work, and you just can't be waiting on this fight. That's a good point too.
But then you see, that's why these guys think they're saving themselves for the last big paycheck. The problem is when you try to save yourself so much, your skills also atrophy. Yeah. So you're not fighting nobody really, and that's why you're designed. You're fighting once a year, and you're not really fighting nobody. So your skills end up sort of getting rusty, and you get thrown in with somebody like Canelo. I don't care how hard you train. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be in trouble because Canelo has been fighting at the highest level at his weight class for the last year and a half, and Charlo and them to me are robbing the fans. Charlo should at least already fought Andrade at his weight class. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm real disappointed in this whole thing, and it looks like that's all we're gonna get. We're gonna see people just waiting around, chilling, like maybe I'm next, maybe I'm next. Canelo needs to start giving off Floyd Mayweather paychecks. Yeah, take this $2 million.
He actually pays more than Floyd. Floyd is only paying
Yeah,
5 million.
no, that's what I'm saying. So he needs to start giving off Floyd. You can't have these dudes like, yeah, man, I'm not gonna fight nobody, but I want 10 million. Remember, Jamal don't have no belt. He don't have nothing that Canelo needs. He don't have nothing.
You know what I noticed? Like David Benavidez is very authentic. I watched the interview y'all did over there on Major Key Boxing, Troy Graham, and he's authentic, and he just shows it in the ring about how he wants to go about getting that Canelo fight. You can tell he's serious. I hear Jamal Charlo talking about Heard on the interview, like right after the fight, like he said all he doing is trash talking and not really being authentic in how he want to approach to get a fight with Canelo. They just admire Canelo. Benavidez is somebody who actually knows and feels in his heart that he can beat Canelo. You see what I'm saying? That's a real test for Canelo. It's David Benavidez. I feel like he's the champion over all of those guys because they don't want to fight him. Demetrius Andrade don't want to fight him, or Charlo don't want to fight him. How are you going to fight Canelo if you're not trying to put yourself in that position? Canelo's been doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like you said, his resume speaks for itself. You see what I'm saying? He fought like 9 different black people. Who are they fighting? You see what I'm saying? Like that we feel that are irrelevant to kind of back them up to say that they deserve a Canelo fight. I feel like they just all want a payday. He ain't lying when he say payday. And I don't even like Canelo that much. This is getting ridiculous. Like they don't want to fight each other.
I'll be honest with you. I think the PBC is missing out on a great opportunity because they have, I don't know how many fighters, probably over 100, I believe. I don't know if you all remember Tuesday night fights and then Friday night fights, right?
Yeah. On USA.
They could do the same. They could do the same thing now. They could take the smaller tier fighters, put them on Tuesdays and Fridays or whatever, and then like on Saturdays, that's when you do the fighters with the bigger names that are still trying to come up, instead of doing once in a while. Because who wants to see the same fighters over and over when you have over 100 fighters?
Yeah, because
I don't
it's not really
understand
like
why
a
that's
big
not getting
event,
done.
Troy Graham. You're right. I like that idea because it's not really like a big event when you think about Charlo's fight coming up. It's like, oh man, who about to fight another bum? Won't you just be consistent? Won't you just be consistent and just kind of work your resume up, like to just be like get your resume up, like fight on a Tuesday night fight, like you said, because it's not a big event. I don't know why people think it's a big event when they fight. It's just them
It's not.
like cherry picking, if you ask me.
Yeah, shake up the boxing, the hardcore boxing fans and get that Andre work.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
And nobody wants to pay no $70 to watch them fight. Who are they?
Shit. He got
You know what I
offered
mean?
like 7 million
Hey,
for that fight. Like,
hey, let me go hit the beach with these children. Hey, peace out to the great Chai Graham. Finkley, don't let your friend do that to you again, bro. That ain't your friend.
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna leave that alone. He kind of like my boss, but it is what it is. It
Anyway,
is what it is.
1-2. Peace, man. Thanks for
yeah,
having me.
peace out,
Come on.
man. No problem, bro.
Have fun at the beach, man.
Respect, man.
Yeah, man. Easy now.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
go ahead and get that Andre work, man. Come on, Charlo. He got title. Then you have what? 2 titles, right? At 160. Then it's gonna look better at the bargaining table when you ask for that ridiculous amount of money for your resume. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
like why dwell on the
it'll
past?
look better. Yeah. Make your own way. I agree with you guys, man. Make your
That's a
own
real
way.
belt.
Don't wait on this. Don't wait on it. Don't wait on the big payday, because if you're waiting too long, you know what I mean? What's gonna happen? That over marination, you know the result of that shit. You know what I mean? The result of that shit is you get stopped by a bum, or the guy that you're waiting on gets stopped by a nobody. So
Yep. And
And we've seen
Canelo's
that happen twice already, haven't we?
Canelo's head's getting so big too. It's gonna be like he's gonna just actually block them out eventually. Like he's not even gonna think they're important no more unless they start showing that they're important by
He don't.
fighting one of these guys.
Yeah, he don't think they're important now because they just. I mean, they don't bring anything to the table. I mean, you can't tell him that he has to fight you when you haven't even cleaned out your own division, right?
yeah.
Yep.
And you got to stop saying that I can move up to 168. Why don't you just move up to 168?
And
Stop crying wolf.
he pulled up on Plant too and was like, "Yo, man, I hope you win." Plant was like, "I'm gonna see you." I was like, "Oh shit."
I think Plant beats him.
Yeah, maybe
I
after that
really
last
believe that.
fight. After that last fight, it's possible. But I mean, damn, man, like shit, like yeah, he pulled up on him. It's like, why you? And he was like, "I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you." And it's like, why would you root for him? Why would you be rooting for Plant if you want that Canelo work, and that payday would be gone if Plant pulled it off. Like that payday would be a lot lower. Like that makes 0 cents. 0 cents from a business aspect. Like don't have a dog in the fight. Say, you know what I mean? Whatever. He said, go get them belts. So I don't understand his energy.
Maybe it's me because I've been told that I was a little crazy to think this, but you have all this social media and all these different ways to actually sell yourself or market yourself, right? And
Yeah.
as far as fighters go, they have to stop thinking that the sport is boxing. No, boxing is just a vehicle. You are the sport. Because if you take all the fighters away, you'll still have the word boxing, but you won't have anybody there to do anything with it, right? They're
I'm
they're
trying to
actually
follow
the
you, Troy. I'm trying to follow you.
right. What I'm saying is, fighters have to get out of the mindset of being employees and being free agents. They have to learn the business coming in
Mm.
and then go from there. And I think that'll settle a lot of who's fighting who and who's fighting that. Because when you sign these contracts with these promoters and these managers, you basically sign to them for X amount of fights. Whereas if you're a free agent, you can say to them, I'm just going to do this on a fight by fight basis. I'm not signing no long term contract with you, and they'll either take it or leave it,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good
'Cause you-
point. Ain't no sense in having your own promotional company if you're under contract to do what to not do. I mean, you can't do what the fuck you want to do. You're still under somebody else. So the fact that you got a promotional company, you know what I mean, just keep that shit on the hush until you get out of that contract and become a free agent. Because when you're saying, oh yeah, just because you got your name up there, just put my name up there and say that my promotion company is there as well. But at the same time, you can't make a move without getting an okay from your boss. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want that shit. You know what I mean? Hey yo, Ronald Finkley, man. Your boss probably don't like giving you money. He wanted you to lose that shit.
Man, he lost 5,000. Only lost 200, but it was fun. I should have
Well,
just stopped when I was ahead. 200.
yeah,
Only
man.
had
It's I seen that. I told somebody to stop when they was ahead, and then they won big, but I still was like, yeah, play it by the numbers, man. Play it
yeah.
by the numbers. Once you get ahead, man, it's made for you to lose money. The only guaranteed fucking machine in that fucking place in a casino is the ATM. That's
No
it.
doubt. No, yeah, and
and that
that's
there's no
that's
way.
that's bringing it out. That's bringing it out. That's bringing your money out. Yeah, they're gonna give you that out. It will belong to you. They're not gonna give
Let
you.
me tell
Yeah,
you
you're
a
gonna put
secret
money
about them slot machines. Because I used to be a tech at a casino about 2 years ago, right?
in. Yeah.
All those machines are on a timer. So there's a time that you're going to win and there's a time that you're going to lose.
I
You
was
always
sitting
want
at
to,
the blackjack table too, though. Also, but I won my money at the blackjack computer, like
right.
the big computer. But when I went to the table, man, it was two dealers there, the man and the woman, and they both was hard body, even though like it was five of us sitting at the table. But man, they was like really good dealers. Like I mean, they was really good dealers. Nice
Well,
casino though.
you gotta keep it in mind, man. It's made for you to lose. You know what I mean? How do you think they keep them lights on? All them lights.
For
You know what
real,
I mean?
for real.
9 times out of 10, you're gonna lose. The only
That's
reason
why
they
it's
keep
on the
it,
timer.
yeah, you got to be lucky to be one of them winners. And when you one of them winners, they'll show you around and tell you everything, and they'll show you around everybody. Like, look, even you can win. That's the
Yeah,
game,
I
man.
tell you what
I
you
got
do. I tell you what you
I
do, and
got
this is a
back like
guarantee
I
that
got
you'll
back
win.
like 11:30. They fought earlier, right? They fought like maybe instead of 1 in the morning, they fought a little earlier, right? Because it seemed like the fight was off when I got back, so they must
I
have fought a
wasn't
little bit
paying
earlier.
attention to the time, but I really was. Yeah, man, it was enjoyable fight,
Yeah,
man. I enjoyed the fight very much, man. And like I said, if y'all didn't watch the whole fight and you're just looking at highlights, Watch the whole fight. You'll be impressed. You'll be
I gotta
impressed.
watch
Matter
it.
of fact,
Yeah.
try to stay away from the highlights because they're gonna dictate that shit. That shit was a lot closer than the commentators were saying. And like I said, I had planned up a little bit, but I wouldn't be mad if somebody had Canelo up, But the way them commentators was talking, I was like, I wanted to mute it, but I just blocked them out because I wanted to hear the punches. So that's the price you pay for turning the shit down because you can't hear the effective shots. You know what I'm saying?
No
So
doubt. You see Tony's
Who's up
reviews
next?
comment? You see Tony's
Yeah,
review
I saw
comment?
that.
I got something to say about that. Like, think about it like this: the way I saw Plant fighting, he fights like on the outside a little bit more, like, and his guard is kind of wide. Like Charlo fights like he kind of protects his guard and he kind of like stays in close, like with his arms when he fights. Like
mhm.
if he fought Canelo, wouldn't you think that might be effective? Like of him going backwards, he probably wouldn't go back as much as Plant. From what I saw in the 11th round, it just looked
Well,
like Plant was going back.
then you look at like the Callum Smith fight where he fights like that, hands straight up and uses his jab, and that didn't go well for
Yeah.
him.
Oh yeah, you got a
And
point there.
it didn't go well for him. So when you caged up, that gives him a chance to cut the distance without, because occasionally you block your own view, and you can't use your range when you block your view because he's going to close that range on you. I think Caleb fought a very good fight. Very good fight. I take nothing away from him. I'm pretty sure people are like, yeah, he got wiped out. That's what he gets. I'm like, that shit. I watched the fight, and that motherfucker came to fight, and he didn't just stay like on the outside. He stayed on the inside. He got off 3-4 punch combinations. He flurried on him occasionally. He catch him with the catch and shoot right hand, and Canelo just kept coming. He kept walking him down. And the one thing that Caleb doesn't have is a lot of power. But there were a couple times where he stopped Canelo in his tracks. But Canelo was during the fight, he kept trying to throw that overhand right over the top when Caleb would go down instead of coming under.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying to myself, like, he needs Canelo when he gets on the inside, he should be using like that, throw a looping right hand to the body, and then he started doing that. So I was like, that was a good move, and the good body shots. Also, what Caleb was doing was when he would get on the inside, instead of holding Canelo, he would just hold his left hand and then give him his shoulder, like he was like fighting in the wedge or the Mayweather shell. You know what I mean? So now with his right hand, he can't do much other than go to the body, but he would hold his left hand so he can't get off in the which was really smart. It was something that I didn't think of, but it worked to his advantage up until he got popped with that left hook. That left hook, man, that shit rocked his shit. He caught him with an uppie when he tried to duck, because you could tell he was hurt from that. Then he caught him with the uppie. That was fucking, it's over. He had that
Yeah.
motherfucker skating.
Yeah, it looked like he leaned his head like in towards it and he got caught, right? Instead of like moving his
He's
head
a
outward.
finisher, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, Canelo's a finisher, man. Yeah, but when he would grab his left hand when he come inside and try to like throw the left hook to the body, he just grab his left hand, hold it, and then give him his shoulder, so that he had to try to go over the top, and then he give him his back to where he couldn't really hit him in the head. So it was a good little tactic that worked out well for him for as long as it did.
No doubt. Yo, 1-2 kid, my phone about to die. I'm gonna get back in chat. And thanks
All
for
right, man.
having me on, man.
Thanks for hopping on, man. Thanks for
I
hopping
got
on.
the 411 now, and I know a little bit more about how the fight was going. I'm gonna check it out today.
All right, cool, man. Check it out, man.
Yo,
It was. I'm
yep.
curious to how Tony seen the fight.
All right, Troy Grant. One.
Uh,
All right, brother. I was
so
gonna jump up here myself.
all right,
Uh,
Troy. Before you go, let me
yeah.
ask you a question. Out of
Mm-hmm.
the two, Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, who do you think is gonna shine brighter in a
In the
welterweight
long
division?
run, I'm gonna go with Boots because he has that one thing that Virgil doesn't have yet. He fights. He fights when he fights. He's extremely calm, so he keeps that energy. He can have the same amount of energy from round 1 all the way to round 12 because he's so calm. and he sees everything. He sees everything. He just
Still
has to
boxing.
work on getting tagged with those right hands. But I haven't seen anyone that calm in the ring since James Toney. That's the last fight I saw that was so calm that he was just, even in round 12, he was just like, okay, he's calm, man.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think who I like to watch sometimes when they can be extremely comfortable in the ring is Bud.
Mhm.
Bud can do the same thing. But sometimes he just like fuck that, we got fight. He just starts
Yeah.
digging. What do
He
you think
could-
about what Derek James said, man? I was
What did he
disappointed.
say? Because I don't know what he said.
Derek James said that Bud is fighting a washed fighter in Sean Porter, and then said, after he said he was washed, said, and I know Sean Porter wanted the rematch, but he got to beat Bud if he got the rematch. I'm like, why are you skipping over Bud? Like, you still ducking this dude? Like,
Sean Porter, that's just crazy talk. Where
yeah,
is he? I mean, was he washed up when he fought the Spence?
right. You know what I'm saying? And he
Right.
said
See that?
after the Spence fight, he was washed. I'm like, what are you talking
Really?
about, man? That was a close ass fight. It
Really?
doesn't make
Okay.
sense. Yeah, that's what he said. And I'm like, then said he's washed, but he could get the rematch. Like,
He's just
what?
towing the line, basically. He's
Yeah,
towing the
yeah,
line for
yeah,
some people.
exactly. I just didn't like the energy because I seen the end result in the background. Like, yeah, you still ducking this dude when your coach is ducking a fighter. That's bad, man. Man,
I mean,
Derek James,
to
man,
be,
come on, man, cut the shit. Like,
be, to be
you
honest with
trying
you,
too hard.
the only difference between Spence and Crawford is Spence is more fluid than Crawford. That's all. Crawford has a tendency. I'm sorry, Spence has a tendency to be a little bit stiff, but Crawford is smooth, is a whole lot more fluid, and
Mm,
he's a hell of a lot stronger than people think he is.
yeah,
Anytime you could clean damn near 500 pounds, you're
yeah,
strong as hell, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
he catches you at the end of his punches. People say, well, he's all scrawny. When he throws those punches and he catches you at the end of his punches, that's his entire body weight crashing into you.
Yo,
So
with all that
yeah.
strength that he putting in his leg, doing all that squatting, that helps as well. And then on the inside, when you're trying to push that man around and his wiry ass throwing you around, you're gonna find yourself in a bad position. You like, I can't do nothing with this dude on the inside or the outside. Then he might switch up on you, and his reach, I think it's like 73. So he
I'm not sure
got
if it's,
damn good reach. He got better reach than Floyd did.
yeah, and also he's not a fighter that ever has to get in shape because he stays in shape.
Yeah, I was touching on that earlier. That's
That's
why
the
people
difference.
was
Spence, on
asking.
the other hand, has to get in shape
Right.
for most
And
fights
that's gonna pay dividend. That's
because he
gonna hurt
drinks.
him later
Yeah,
in his career. I feel the exact same way about that. And that's why I think the question came up. I think Boxing Lounge asked Tommy Temper, he's like, how many more fights you see Crawford? And I was like, well, like 3. And then I'm like, nah, he stays in shape. That's longevity right there. And he's always got his foot in the door. He's already halfway in there. Like he stays in shape. He knows this is his profession. He's always ready. So that brings longevity to the sport, like Bernard Hopkins did. Always in shape. And I don't know, man. And he's got skills to continue his career even when he does get older.
the
If this
truth
dude
is,
just wants
man,
to box, shit.
I think after this fight, Crawford is going to move up to 154, and Spence definitely needs to move up to 154 because they both walk around over 170 pounds.
Yeah, and you know what? I
Both of them
think
do.
moving to 154 would be a good move for Spence, just for the simple fact that because he doesn't train in the off season and because he's out there partying, he's gonna have a harder time. It's gonna start showing in his I think it may start showing in his performances. Making 147 is it's gonna come back and bite his ass, because you can't be out there doing that shit as a professional athlete and think that you can turn it on and off all the time. That's not good, man. That's not a
Up
good
and
thing.
down. I'll give you an example of someone who I always thought was probably one of the greatest fighters I've ever had to see in my lifetime. Right, that was
Mm.
James Toney. He was up and down
Yeah,
in weight,
hell yeah.
and as he got older, that affected his knees. So you saw
Right.
him moving less. That's why he was on the ropes most of the time, and that's
countering and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, you know, that's why I said he stayed calm because he could see everything. He could
Nobody
see
could catch and
everything.
shoot like that dude. That catch and
And-
shoot right hand was sick. Matter of fact, Tony's the one who was showing Plant a lot of that shit. And he was
Yeah,
using
yeah.
that shit as well in that fight last night. He was catching him with that right hand. You know, Canelo would come over the top and then he just come right back with that quick right hand, bang, and catch
I
him.
tell you who else was in his corner as well. This is a cat that most people don't know, but he's on. He used to work with Eddie Fudge, the great Eddie Fudge, the trainer.
Yeah, yeah.
And that brother's name is Sel Torrance. He has 21 champions under his belts. Many of them are Hall of Famers. He was in there to help Plant's trainer, right?
Mhm.
So you know, a lot of what you saw Plant do, that was from the mind of Sel. You know, the great Sel right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sel, Tommy Brooks, and all those cats came up with Eddie Fudge. Tommy Brooks has 25 champions to his name, and he learned from the mongoose, Archie Moore.
Archie
So I
Moore.
gotta, yeah. So that tells you about
right.
all the knowledge these cats bring, and they should be telling their stories and stuff. But that's what I'm here for.
Troy
But
Graham's going back. He going back. But yeah,
yeah.
I was a Tony fan big time too. That was my favorite fighter at the time. Both him and who's that Mexican cat? Oh, Michael Carbajal. I enjoyed watching him fight as well.
Oh my God! You know he won at every level. There's not one level he didn't
and I
win
like
at.
the way he finished.
Yeah,
Finished on top, and he beat a young lion, and then said, and nobody had him picked to win, and he just came.
Yes, I can't remember the cat's name who he beat, but I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I love both of those guys. The only issue I used to have with Tony was that motherfucker wouldn't stay in shape. He stayed in the gym, but he just didn't take care of himself. And to compete at such a high level in higher weight classes told you his skill level. Like
because he sparred all the time.
Yeah,
he sparred every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but if he ran a little bit, shit, I didn't see many people that could fuck with him. You know, I mean, of course you had the Roy fight, but he had to cut a lot of weight for that fight as well.
Man, I was so angry. I don't know him personally, but I was so angry about that fight because
I was as well.
I wanted to see him at his best. And Roy even said that was his toughest fight, and Tony wasn't even at his best.
Right, he wasn't.
No,
but that's Tony's fault, not Roy's. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's why I get mad too. I'm like, shit, man, we never seen this dude in tip-top shape and dedicated. Like this is just pure talent. You know what I'm saying? That was James Tony right there.
Right, and then the last thing, this tells you the difference between talent and skill, because Roy Jones lived off his talent, off his God-given talent. You see how many times now that he doesn't have his talent, that he's been stopped. He shouldn't really box anymore.
Yeah,
right?
I totally agree.
But Tony has never been knocked out, and he's old, and he's the same. He's the same age group as Roy. His reflexes are not the same and all that, but he's never been knocked out, has he?
No, never.
And he fought at heavyweight.
I think I've only seen him get rocked once or twice in his entire fucking career. Ever.
Yeah, but he has a tendency to play it off. He'll bounce back on the ropes and, and try to put you in a trick bag.
It was
and
against Sam Peter, and then
well, Sam Peters hurt him. He had this thing he used to do. He used to throw his jab out and wait for you, and he lean back a little bit and come with full force with his right hand, right?
Yeah.
And I think James timed it wrong and got caught with it, and you could see his back foot come up off the canvas, and he just kind of stepped back. But Sam didn't know if he was faking it or not.
Right.
So Sam,
because he put on a good show. You know what I'm saying? He bluffed him, but but Sam Peter, he had the underrated jab as well, and he had a long reach for being so short and stocky. I remember that shit between him and Klitschko. That was a hell of a fight. He dropped Klitschko like 3 times, but Klitschko beat the shit out of him.
Because he ran out.
So weird. What a hell of a fight that was. Because he rocked him a couple times in that fight. That shit was a badass fight as well. But yeah, James Toney is the man. I enjoyed watching him. I enjoyed watching. My dream fight was to watch him and Hopkins fight in their primes.
There was supposed to be a fight at a catchweight of 188, and Hopkins gave it some thought, then he pulled out. This was back in early 2000s when I was much younger. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hopkins, because Hopkins would talk about it because he's the one that offered the fight. It wasn't James. It was Hopkins, right?
yeah.
And then
But
I
I
think
just
after
I wanted them I wanted to see them fight in their prime though, when because people disrespect Hopkins and call him dirty, and these are just tactics that he used as longevity to stay in the ring, even though he did have some good performances within that. Back in the days when he was fighting on like what you was talking about Tuesday night fights, he was washing people. He was dogging motherfuckers. I
you want to know
remember
why
that
he does.
guy.
You want to know why? Because he was one of them cats. He wasn't blessed with great speed, wasn't
Mm.
blessed with great power. But I tell you what, he was blessed with. He had enough sense to learn the sport, and he was determined. He was so determined that Don King said, "I hate working with this ninja, because he
Yeah.
goes over every contract letter by letter and
Yep.
all of that."
Yeah,
He
he had an
hated him.
angle. Yeah, he had angles and all that shit, and he did
Yeah.
it his own way. So I mean, I shout out that dude. I think he don't get the props that he deserves nowadays. That I think this dude fought till he was 50. Fuck
Yeah,
out of here. And
yeah.
non-stop though. There was no
And then
retirement. There was
and then he
this
made the
dude.
mistake of fighting he fought two punches at 100. And
Yeah,
well, he fought Cloud, didn't he? Did he fight Cloud? I think he
yeah.
did.
He beat
So this,
Cloud, I believe.
he schooled him, but he fought about 3 or 4 punches up there, and he kept rolling the dice. Kovalev froze him in the fight because he
Yeah.
never saw
Oh yeah.
Hopkins.
Yep.
He froze him, and he went into safety mode.
Yep.
So he never
It was
really was
too. It
trying to
was
win
too
that fight.
much. It was too much. Yeah.
Right.
He kept. It was too much for him. I
And
was
then
rooting
Joe
for
Smith,
Hopkins, but Joe Smith, yeah, knocked him out the
yeah,
ring.
yeah, Joe Smith, in his mind, he was thinking he had the skill still to outmaneuver Joe Smith's power. But the
Right.
thing is, Father Time don't lose to nobody.
That's right. He was doing
Yeah.
all right for a little while until he got caught.
Nah,
And Joe Smith is
nah,
heavy-handed,
he slow.
man. He was
Yeah.
heavy-handed. He got him out of there. And but what I'm trying to say is, it's difficult to tell them guys to hang it up when they've been winners for that long, and they've been defying nature for so long. You know what I mean? So
I
you
tell
try
you
to
what
tell a
though, man.
champion that don't do it, they like,
Yeah.
man, you. That's what they all said. Look what I
Yeah,
did.
man, I really wish they would do that thing though, the PBC with Tuesday night, Friday nights, and then they could work with everybody because that's how the sport would flow. Because you know how we got to know them fighters from back in the day, which could be the early 2000s or the 90s, because of their backstories. Tuesday night
Yeah.
fights would always tell their backstories, right?
Yep.
I
Sean
can't remember the
O'Grady and
cat.
them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't remember this cat's name. I'm gonna say this and jump off here. He was a white dude from out of Texas. I think he fought at 160. Okay, he was actually a decent fighter, but he was a fool because they asked him, what he do for a living. He said, "Well, really, I drive a cab, but also, after I do that, I dress up at night as a police officer and I go rob drug dealers." And guess what happened to him? He didn't die in the ring. He got killed for real.
Oh man.
He got killed in Texas. Like a couple of months later, they showed the clip of him saying that on the show. Then they announced, well, he was found shot to death or da in Houston.
And
And I
first
wish
off,
I could remember his name.
making that statement was a bad thing. And if
On
that's what
national
you're doing,
television?
why are
Yeah.
you saying it on national television like that?
Yeah.
There's so many things you could pick from that shit. But sad story. But hey, man, you're out there
Yeah.
taking what taking from other people, man. And I don't know, man. You can't do that, man. You're gonna get some pushback.
As soon as I heard him say that, I said, okay, he's dead. Because this was Houston back in, when was this? Late 90s, early 2000s. It wasn't no. Everybody know your face now, partner. Everybody.
Yeah. You ain't got
But
a mask on. All
let
right,
me
Troy.
jump up here. I'm gonna go make some chopped cheese with my son here and chill out for the game.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, I'm gonna catch my game too. I think as well. I think my boys playing today.
Who's your team?
The boys,
Who?
Cowboys.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm a Ravens and Giants fan. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, it's okay. When y'all get them rings, you can get in the conversation. And then
Every team I just named has rings, plural. Every team I just named.
no, well, I'm just saying they ain't got them Cowboy rings though.
Who has more, the Cowboys or the Giants?
I'm pretty sure the Cowboys. What
Yeah.
don't you know? You're probably a low key Cowboys fan. Why don't you just stop being a
No,
loser and jump on a winning train?
no, because you know what, man? I would be a Cowboys fan, but I saw your bio movie. You know, you know what your bio movie is, right?
I do
Brokeback
not.
Mountain, and you have a good day on that.
Have a good one, man. Yo, yeah, shout out to the Giants. But we out here, man. You can say what you want, man. I don't like the way some of these Cowboys move, but they still winners, man. I ain't gonna battle on them. And that's how it is, man. Shit. But enough of the NFL, we can get back to boxing. It's a boxing stream. So I mean, I'm running out of combo at the moment, unless y'all want to chit chat about something else. If y'all want to talk some more boxing, y'all got any questions? You're more than welcome to drop them in the comment section and hop on the panel and do what you want to do. But yeah, I'm gonna be watching my boys soon if Mr. Reviews don't hop on soon. But I was a avid Tony fan for a long time, man. I enjoy watching him fight as Bernard Hopkins as well. And yeah, man. And I was happy with the fights last night. I was happy with it. I was happy with a lot of things last night, man. It was for being such a garbage undercard. They actually came to shine. We got some knockouts, some devastating knockouts, and that. So I was happy with the pay per view. To be honest with you, I was happy with it. I couldn't have been more satisfied with the fight, the outcome, and everything. Canelo is made history last night. Made history. So shout out to him, man. I know his fans is pretty happy about it. And as a boxing fan, I'm pretty happy about that. We got a undisputed 168 champion, and he the first Mexican to do it. So man, shout out to him, man. History books have been made, man. He imprinted it, man. Cinnamon is on there now, man. He's done. Now there's arguments out there. There's arguments about who's the best fighter. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so he definitely the face of boxing at this moment. Because when it comes to career, when it comes to accolades, when it comes to performances, when it comes to you know, asses and seats, all these things, man. This dude accumulated everything, man. He came up and he got the blueprint from Golden Boy, and now he's doing it big, man. He started at a young age, man. What a story! What a story! And shout out to Caleb Plant for making it a competitive fight as well, and not just giving up and quitting, because he was definitely game the whole fight. I can't knock Caleb Plant. So motherfuckers out here knocking Caleb Plant, I mean, they just kind of like some haters, man, because he proved that he belonged in that ring with the elite. And there's not much after that performance last night. There's not much more elite than Canelo Alvarez. So, he's the number one pound for pound, whether you like it or not. Period. And you can argue it, but with no Manny around, and he got that undisputed. So that's a hell of an argument. That's something Manny never got. So maybe Manny will come back and try to, who knows, but maybe not. And if he moves up to 175 and pulls off some titles and some wins there, man, that's hit top 3 status in boxing. That many weight divisions and moving up, and with those, like I said, a feat within itself with those attributes, fighting at that weight class. Because these guys 6'3", 6'1", crazy reach, fucking 75, 70. This dude, I'm not even sure if Canelo has a 70-inch reach. He's like 5'7", maybe 5'6" and 3/4. To be honest with you, I think they just try to make him a little taller. But man, he performs, man, and he delivers. And he delivered last night. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that shit at all, y'all. But I'm running out. I'm running out of things to talk about, so I don't want to just be rambling forever. I'm still here. Give me a little longer. Oh, you still here? Well then, all right. We'll see. We'll see where you at in a few. But as for Derek James, man, yeah, go ahead with that horse shit, man. Nobody wants to hear that shit. And I don't know if Haney can petition until after the JoJo fight for the WBC franchise. but he can make that undisputed fight if he does petition for it. So I mean, you can use that shitty ass title as to your advantage, and Teal gave him the blueprint to do so. He said he wants that fight, if he's willing to do it, but we shall see. They still got Cambosis and JoJo to tend to before they can make that fight happen. I mean, if we see an upset in that can shit, you might find a new star, man. I mean, we got Ugas in the boxing industry has just took a major league hot steamy shit on Ugas, man. I mean, this dude just beat the man, and now they fucking with his title. They fucking with, they say fucking got him in elimination fights and shit. Like, what the fuck? And Earl, man, I hope his eye is better. They saying that he's fine, but when he got his coach out here ducking smoke with guys, you know what I mean, like Bud Crawford, and they just, you know, the boxing industry is just telling, you know, Ugas he can't unify with Spence, man. He should probably be looking, you know, after his first defense or whatever tournament shit. He should go go that Bud route and say, "Yo, man, I got a title." You know what I'm saying? Let's unify, and hopefully they'll do some sort of unifications with that belt that he got, that WBA belt. If the WBA is seem to be moving on some bullshit, I'm not feeling how they treating Ugas, man. They don't. It's like they don't want him as the champion, and if he earned it, you know what I mean? Let him do his thing, man. Stop knocking this dude, man. Stop knocking this dude. This dude put on a damn good performance, and he beat the man. He beat the man at welterweight. Yeah, everyone could say shit about Bud and Spence, but when it come to them paydays and when it come to historical fighters, man, he beat the man, which was Manny Pacquiao. You know? So come on, Earl. Come on, Derek James. Come on, PBC. Let's make it work, man. Let's make it work, y'all. For real. And let's give this man his props. Give Ugas his props, man. Stop shitting on that dude. For real. He earned it. Give it to him, man. Give him the praise he deserves. Whether you like him or not. It's about the boxing game, y'all. About the boxing game. You know what I mean? Whether you like Canelo or not, you can't be mad at him for being undisputed. What, you gonna be mad forever? What, you gonna be mad forever? You can't be mad at Caleb Plant for putting on a show, fans. For putting on a competitive show, y'all. What, you gonna be mad forever? My aunt said that shit to me one time when I was younger. I was upset about something. She said, "What, you gonna be mad forever?" And I took that with me. I was like, you know what? You're right. Can't be mad at these motherfuckers forever. Unless you just a hater. Unless you a hater, man. Shit. Y'all talking about football? Well, we did for a minute, man. Which reminds me. Let's see. Let me check real quick. NFL schedule, baby. What's popping today? Oh, got the Giants and Raiders. LA and New York. Broncos. We're gonna ride them horses, boy. Ride them into the sunset. Good night, Broncos. We in there now. Dak back. Shit, we pulled one out of our ass with our second string last week. We pulled one out of our ass. Real talk. Just found Caleb Plant what? Electrifying. Really? I die if Teofimo Lopez after all this debauchery lose to Cambosis. Yeah, that'd be fucking bad, man. That'd be bad for him. That'd be all the way bad. He'd walk out with no titles. Yeah, that shit would be all the way bad. You know what I mean? And same with Devin Haney. If he was to lose to JoJo, man, what type of shit would he have to get back in there with a champion? He'd really have to start from scratch. So Don't over marinate it, man. Let that shit happen when it's good. You know what I'm saying? Get that money while it's good, while picking, because over marination can be all the way bad. All the way bad. We've seen it over and over as boxing fans. We've seen what over marination it does. Wilder and AJ. We see what that happens. We see what happens, man. Manny, Floyd, Bud, and Spence. You know, we know what over marination, what can happen when you over marinate a fight. You can lose all the paydays. Guy can just get, you come out, hey, Ugas and Pacquiao. Boom. Had that fight in there. Fucking Pacquiao's always in the mix. He sent that man, look, man, go ahead, be president. Take this ass whooping. Good fight. But he sent him to the Philippines, man. He was like, you know what? I did everything I had to do. I'm gone. But shout out to Manny as well, you know, for competing at the highest level with a Thurman and a Ugas, attempting to fight Spence at the highest level at his age and with all his accomplishments, and not playing it safe. He didn't play it safe, man. He went out with a bang. Shout out to Manny Pacquiao, man. We're putting on all those damn shows for us. You know what I mean? And when you get them huge wins and you call it quits like Marquez, that ain't bad either. When you get up, you leave on top, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Especially if you're still healthy, you can become a commentator and sit on them big paydays and that legacy and say, yeah, but not ducking smoke. I don't remember Marquez ducking no smoke either. Says ever since that crazy comeback, St. Louis Rams in the final minute versus New England. Oh yeah, felt football was rigged. Yeah, I seen that Cowboys Patriots game, man, and them calls were ridiculous. I'm pretty straightforward. When my team loses, they lose. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem, but those calls were insane. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And they tried to cheat us, but it didn't go their way. You know what I mean? It didn't go their way. Yeah, I felt it was a bit suspect too when the lights went out when they played Atlanta, when they was down like, what was it, 30 donut? Lights went out at halftime. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Who didn't pay the light bill? Like, come on, man. That shit was suspect as hell. That shit was highly suspect. Come on, man. The gamblers, yo, Vegas was like, turn the lights out. What's going on here, man? Turn the lights out. So you can't trust them, Finkley. You can't trust them casinos. They got the inside line, baby. They'll cut off your power. They'll cut off the power, man. They cut the power off. That was bullshit. That was bullshit. They'll send the fucking parachute dude, man, the fan man, in the middle of your shit. Send in the fan man. We gotta get this money. I know Vegas lost a lot of money. Well, I know a couple gambling apps that lost huge money in that Tio Lomo fight. They probably went right out of business. Because, man, I think it was like 30 to 1 or 50 to 1, something like that, for fucking the first 6 rounds. And all those rounds went to Tio. Crazy. Like 50 to 1, then like 40 to 1, and then 30 to 1. And it was insane. And that's crazy, too, because whoever was advising the app had to know that they didn't know that Lomachenko was a slow starter, and he downloads information. Like, that was all the way bad, man. All the way bad. But I think I spread this a little too long. Shout out to everybody that swung through. Ronald Finkley. We had Troy Graham swing through for a minute. It was nice to go back with him. Tony Reviews was in here. We had, of course, UGC Flame. Oh, we got Tony Reviews. He waited to the last minute What's going on?
Told you I'd jump on. Just showing my dude. If you gotta go, you can go. It's cool.
That's all right. You do your due diligence. You a man of your word. I was stalling.
I had to get to a moment where I could jump on for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's all good, man. Shit. So what you think about? Did you watch the whole fight? Are you one of the few that watched the whole fight?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing.
Yeah, what'd you think? It was competitive, no?
I will say that Caleb gave a good account of himself.
Yeah.
I mean, on the scorecards, looking at the scorecards, I had it pretty much a landslide for Canelo. I had it 7 rounds,
Really?
3 rounds going into the 11th. But I do agree with you. It was competitive because it was one of the things where some of the rounds that I gave to Canelo, I could have seen people giving it to Plant because it's like, what do you like? Do you like the pity patter that keeps somebody, off balance, or do you like the clean, hard, effective shot?
Right.
And he did a lot better than I thought he would do. Like
Yeah,
I will say that regardless of the knockout, he made it look a lot tougher than I thought it would be for Canelo.
Yeah. I mean, even had Reynoso a little concerned. He was like, what are you doing? Man, you got to do this. The fuck, what was we doing in the gym? You ain't doing none of that shit.
But that's like, this is why I keep saying it. Like, seeing him fight Caleb, right? I don't know if he can beat Andrade. Like, this fight just... Because you got to understand, Andrade and Caleb Plant fight a lot alike, except I think Caleb is slower, and I don't think he hits as hard. Now, I think he's a little bit taller. I think Andrade's like 5'11"?
Yeah, I think it's something, or 6 foot.
6 foot. Yeah, I think Caleb may have an inch or two advantage in height. But I just, stylistically, I think Andrade is that guy that may give him a lot of issues.
Yeah, why not? I mean, we seen what Caleb did last night, and it could be I think Andre punches a little harder. I think also Andre is a southpaw, so I mean that could be to his benefit as well. So them punches are coming, and that uppercut that comes out of nowhere, and Canelo likes to duck low. But that's another thing that Andrade does that I was concerned about Plant in the fight. His keys to victory wasn't to crouch, and there was moments when he did it, and I was like, when he wasn't, I thought holding his left hand was a great game plan, though. Never thought about that. I thought that shit worked too. It worked, and then he gave him his shoulder where he couldn't do nothing but go to that, and I was like, go to his kidney. You know what I'm saying? Shit, if he giving you the shot, you can't hit him in the back of the head. So
yeah, that was my only negative to what he was doing. It was good where he would lock up the hand so Canelo couldn't get off, but Canelo started honing in on it. Like you said, he started hitting like right below the elbow on the side of the waist.
Yep.
And I really think that kind of attributed to him falling apart in the 11th round. Like you could see he was getting winded round after round after round. And I think if you're going to turn away from a guy, you don't give up your kidneys. You don't give up.
Right.
Like,
and he felt like, well, this is an illegal blow, so he can't take that shot. And it's like, man, if you holding the man, you got to fight to get out. And one hand's free. He gonna be able to use that hand. And it's not going to be as blatant if he's punching you in the hip or the back as to if he punch you in the back of the head. So I was like, that's what I would do. I would start throwing that right instead of trying to, because you could see Canelo was trying to land that overhand right and it wasn't working. So then I was like, hook that shit to the body or hook that shit to the head. You know what I'm saying? That way you could catch him above the top of the ear and just lunge when you do it. So yeah, I felt like that was the key. But holding that hand on the inside, I was like, that was a good fucking game plan. Just the one. You know what I mean? I was like, that it worked for a while. And with the crowd, it really affected Canelo because Canelo he made all them statements. You know what I'm saying? So he was trying to make good on all that shit. And you can use that against him. You know what I mean? Because he was out of his game plan and it took him a while to adjust as well.
Well, another good thing that Caleb was doing too was when he wasn't connecting, like in other words, when he was throwing punches and it was being blocked, he kept punches. He didn't oh shit, I missed and then reset. He kept do. till one guy threw, or he do all over the gloves, forearms, and elbows, and then move away before Canelo could even respond. So that was another good thing that he was
doing. Canelo didn't land a lot of clean shots either. His shit was getting blocked. And they were talking like, oh, did you see the left hook? Oh, did you see the right hand? It's like they didn't even come close to landing. I was like, what are they talking about? Like, I didn't see him landing clean shots, that many clean shots either. I mean, he was definitely determined. And I felt like that would have been also what I was going to talk about, was the fact that it just the determination of moving forward when both of you guys ain't doing nothing is going to dictate kind of the round. And it's going to, this guy's aggressive, this dude's backing up. So, I mean, they both did them. I got to give them that. And that's what made it an entertaining fight.
No, it was definitely entertaining. The only thing I can say negative about, like truly negative about Plant that cost him the fight was, in my opinion, going off his resume, he was very inexperienced to get in there with a fight like Canelo. And it showed, because when you're a taller guy, the biggest mistake you can ever make, and he did it throughout the fight, and it caught up with him in the 11th round when he got caught. You do not dip low.
Yes, I was saying the same shit, babe. I was like, stop ducking. What are you ducking for? Why are you getting low?
Just right there for that uppercut.
Yeah.
Billy Joe Saunders did it, got his face. Caleb did it in the 11th and could not recover. Like, you're coming down into all his force if he can.
And he's just throwing it, and he can throw a hook to the body or an uppercut to the body and catch you right in the head.
Yeah.
Perfect timing, and just time it. And that's the one thing that I think Andrade would have to work on as well, because he does that shit all the time. And the other thing that I think Caleb did wrong is when he crouches down and then he covers up, you can't give him your body and shit. Where there's moments where he's not doing anything, to just feint. And I'm telling you, the feints was working too, because he would feint Canelo, and Canelo would jump, like scary jump.
Right.
Like, did you see that shit? Like, he was biting on them feints. I'm like, these are all bad things for Canelo at this moment. And Canelo, if he felt the power wasn't there, he shouldn't. And it was funny because Canelo waited to use his head movement, and then when he used his head movement, he was way more successful. When he just left the high guard alone, yeah, he was way more successful. He had him missing and everything.
Around like the end of the 6th round, about 13 seconds left, whenever he started really moving ahead, the body, and he was styling on Caleb for like the last 13 seconds of that 6th round. He didn't throw a punch, and Caleb missed everything he was throwing.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I had seen that. But what I did like what Caleb did also is when fucking Canelo just backed up into the corner, and Caleb just started scoring on him, pulling out, scoring, pulling out, didn't let him set one trap. I was like, yeah, that was a good move. That was a good move, because that's what he wants you to do. He wants you to come in to get off them shots. And he was like, you're going to stay right here. I'm going to judge the distance. I'm going to pop your body. I'm going to jab your head. I'm going to hook you, and then I'm going to pull out, throw the right hand, boom, and just kept him there. And then Canelo was like, yeah, fuck this shit. This ain't going my way.
But I would, at 168, he is probably, even though he got knocked out, he probably did the best against Canelo that we have seen.
Yeah, I believe so too as well. I believe so. Like I said, it was entertaining, and I thought the on paper, I thought the undercard was hot trash, but you know what? It was entertaining though. We got some big stoppages, and I like Elvis, man. I'm an Elvis fan. I like that guy. Yeah, Rodriguez, that boy can fight, and I'm glad he made his proper adjustments, because he's an exciting fighter.
Yeah, I didn't cover that one or the next fight, but I did cover the Anthony Durrell fight where he got his knockout in the 4th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was also he got the stoppage, but they were both going through some. And same with Rodriguez, they went through some fire to get those knockouts. You know what I mean? Both of them were kind of tested, but it was nice to see that Rodriguez was being patient, which is weird because he had Freddie Roach in his corner, so Freddie Roach has made the proper adjustments to keep him patient and then allowing him to be explosive. You know, later on.
Roach, in my opinion, is I do not think he is a good coach as far as like taking somebody from the ground up, but he is an amazing enhancer. So I think he can take a fighter and make them better. Like
Yeah,
he needs somebody who is
he needs
already
talent.
close
Yeah,
to being
yeah, he needs talent. That's true. That's
yeah.
true. But I mean, you could apply that to a lot of coaches. You know what I'm saying? Not many have that gift of where they can, you know, take a guy from the bottom and make him into something special on skill set alone without talent. You know,
Man,
so
you know JD is the best coach, man. It took Deontay Wilder.
JD. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's crazy too. That's crazy. Do you think so? What do you think? What do you think Wilder's gonna be doing now?
um, what I think is very possible for Wilder. So this is how I see it. All the Deontay Wilder fans better pray that I am correct and Dillian White knocks Fury out, like I think he will. Because I think if Dillian White beats Fury, that is the only way Wilder will get back to a title shot because he's already old. But we know that Dillian White really wants to fight him. So I think what Deontay Wilder needs to do is fight like a Ruiz, uh, a Chisora or a Parker, whoever wins that fight. I think
Yeah,
that's the type of fight he needs to come back with, and then pray and hope that Dillian wins his fight and he can get Dillian in the ring.
I think Chisora would be the fight to build his confidence because Chisora's gonna come to fight and he's gonna be there to get tagged as
Yeah,
well.
but Chisora's got to beat Parker first.
That's true too. But I think Parker, he's gonna have a very talented guy that I just feel like never reached his full potential.
Yeah,
Uh,
Parker though is that's good for Wilder is Parker likes to stay at distance,
right, and
and
that's where
where
Wilder needs you to get full extension on that right hand.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true too. But he can also be piecing him up in the process. And I don't know how good Wilder's punch resistance is after the two wars he's been in. So we shall see. He definitely determined. You can't say that. You could say whatever you want about Wilder, but that motherfucker got some guts.
No, he got heart for days.
Yeah, yeah. He got some guts, man. So he don't just have a big punch and sometimes that's all you need in the boxing game. A big punch and guts. You
Well,
know
the
what I
thing
mean?
about
Or a
it
chin.
is before he got hurt in that third round against Fury, he was boxing a lot better than we've seen him box.
Yeah.
So, the thing about it is you don't always have to be a good fighter to be a good coach. And just because you are a good fighter doesn't mean you'll be a good coach. So maybe Malik can improve him because he looked improved, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe it was just the motivation, but I felt like there was a somewhat of a delusion as well. So, you know what I mean? I think it was a mix. It was a mix of confidence and delusion. So, yeah, I think that's the best way I could put it, you know? And sometimes it works because, I mean, that was also an entertaining fight. Fight that I chose not to watch live or pay for because that whole Tyson Fury Wilder bullshit. But and that's the cost of over marination as well. We got Anthony Joshua on the out, so maybe we could get that fight sooner than later. Which would be an entertaining fight because even if I'm pretty sure if Tyson Fury fought for undisputed, this is just being honest. It fought Usyk for undisputed, and we had Anthony Joshua and Wilder. I think Wilder and Anthony Joshua would still get more views.
Oh, it would. It would sell more, way more. Way.
Yeah,
But here's the thing about AJ. If AJ comes in around 250, looking like he never got off the weights from the time he lost to the time he steps into that ring, I think he can beat Usyk. But this slim down, trim down, I want to be a boxer AJ is not going to work.
yeah, yeah. I agree. But I do feel that the fact that he's trying to make adjustments is a good thing. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at AJ. I do feel like sometimes he gets a little laxed in the ring. I think that's the problem. And then he don't make the adjustments during the fight. But the fact that he's making adjustments outside of the fight, we've seen him do it prior, with the Ruiz, which benefited him by sticking and moving.
I don't know if it did. I really don't.
For the fight, the result was he won.
Yeah,
So
you gotta
I
understand
mean,
though. Was it really that he won the fight, or was it really that Ruiz just ate himself out of the fight?
well, that would be Ruiz's fault.
No, I'm not.
Right.
That's not what I'm making excuse.
Alluding to it, right? You're saying that what was the result of? Was it just a result of Andy Ruiz not doing what he's supposed to do? I think it was a combination of both,
That's the
but
thing.
we'll never know.
That's the thing about it is, let's say that, because it can be very deceiving. Like, yeah, he outboxed him, he looked good dancing around him, but at the same time, if the real reason for that is just Ruiz took it for granted, ate himself out of the fight, then all the improvements that people thought they saw, they really didn't see. It really wasn't there. It was just smoke and mirrors because of what Ruiz did to himself.
Right. I gave him hot, like a big load of shit for that. I mean, to give up that history making moment of defending his title and beating the man and being, a true champion who defended his title against a champion after he pulled off the dub. And he just came in way too heavy and thought this dude was going to trade with him, thought he could get one of those shots behind the ear again. And he did, but it wasn't as effective because he couldn't cut the distance because he was grounded. Gravity told him no, because the sandwiches that he kept eating was not working for him. So yeah, I think that definitely has something to do with it. But he also did see a lot of movement by. So I get what you're saying. I think it could be both, though. I think it's a combination of both. To be honest with you, a combination of one guy coming in too heavy and one guy making adjustments. Because I mean, if he did just sit there and trade and was heavy-handed, like you said, he came in heavy and he did just trade with him, you could have got the same result. That would have been the only chance that Ruiz would have had. So by moving, I think it did benefit him. That's just my opinion, but I do see where you're coming from.
Yeah, again, I don't know. Like I was very boisterous about AJ losing weight. I thought it was the biggest mistake he made, and I picked Usyk to do what Usyk did. And I've been saying it for the last two fights with Ruiz too and Pulev that I just don't see that same type of power. Like AJ, in my opinion, he's not a God-gifted puncher. He's a built puncher. He's a guy that could punch hard, but in order to really get his full power, he has to work for it. He needs to be strong. He needs to be big. He's not like a guy like Deontay Wilder who can come to the ring 205 pounds and knock your fucking head off. Like,
right. And he does look more spectacular when he fights in bursts and spurts, when he gets off them like 3-punch combinations, or when he's heavier and they pack a lot more punch. You know what I mean? They got more mustard on him. Bop, 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 like when he did drop Ruiz. But it didn't work in his favor because he tried to get him out of there. And
well, he got sloppy. He you know what I think it was? Deontay Wilder had that great knockout over Brazil.
And he wanted that too.
Yeah, in his mind, he just wanted to be more spectacular than Wilder. And because of it, he threw all caution to the wind, tried to finish, and he got his ass finished.
Right. That's what I was saying too about Canelo. It's a pride. It's a pride thing. And I think that's one thing that goes unspoken about, where people don't talk about that shit, or they don't really a mindset of saying, okay, well, I could use this man's pride against him. You know what I mean? And it worked for a little while, but yeah, like I think Floyd did that as well. Like, don't get me wrong, the skill set was there. He wasn't there for the shots, but he used his talents to neutralize this man's, whole game plan, with making him want to take him out, making him want to get him, you know what I mean? Not setting anything up, or attempting to setting things up, seeing when he's setting traps, like where it was a chess match. When you do things like that to guys with entire crowds behind them that ooh and ah about everything that they do, when they get tagged, they get quiet, and that fighter is going to realize that. And I think saying things like, yeah, I'm gonna knock this guy out in this amount of round, and putting that pressure on yourself when you're the face of boxing can work against you. You know what I'm saying? I think it's something that we don't talk about as boxing heads, that can actually work against you in a fight. So you got to stay cool and calm and focused in there. And Canelo is capable of doing that. But if you get him out of his game plan, I think that's the way that you do it. Is you play him on the crowd. You know what I mean? Let the crowd play him as well.
The problem with boxing is it's not like other sports. In boxing, it's almost like the harder you try, the harder it becomes to do. In other sports, it's the exact opposite. But in boxing, it's like the problem is the other person watching you. They can see what you're trying so hard to do. So because you're trying so hard, they get all the reads, and it becomes harder and harder for you to do it versus you just letting the fight flow naturally and not for the knockout, not looking to hurt this guy, not looking to cut him up like Canelo said he was going to do to Plant.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? When you're trying,
you gotta step back and take yourself out of that shit and look at it as you gotta find that zen, because when like I said, when the crowd's like cheering your name and dudes piecing you up, and it like that really it drains you, because you're trying to, it motivates you, but it can motivate you in the wrong way. And I think that's a psychological game that can work to your advantage when you're fighting a big name guy in front of the hometown crowd, or a big name guy that brings fans wherever they go. You can use that. You can I think that's a tactic that can be used and has been used against guys like Canelo. I've even seen Floyd flustered in moments, and Manny flustered in moments, and they just did sloppy shit for a moment. You know what I mean? Until they made the proper adjustments and got their shit back together. But that shit. I seen Floyd, like when he was fighting Zab, look just like bamboozled, look flustered. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Because of Zab Judah's speed, his explosiveness.
Yeah, it brought him a problem. But then he got it back together. And the thing with Zab is at that point in time, Zab was he was a plan A, and that's it. Look good first, win second kind of guy. So if his plan A didn't work, he got flustered and frustrated himself. And I think Floyd was one of those guys that could make adjustments in the ring, on the fly. And there's moments where he showed mental weakness and then just turned it around and pulled it off. You know what I mean? So shout out to Floyd for those things. But
that's the biggest thing that separates Floyd from like damn near 98% of all boxers.
Right, exactly. It's
like AJ in his last interview he gave, he said, don't blame me, blame my team. They came up with the game plan. They came up with the training. Whenever I go to my corner, they tell me what to do. And it's like, you can't fight like that. Is somebody in there? You have got to have enough sense to know that if what they're telling you isn't working, you got to do something different. And that's the thing about Floyd. What made Floyd so great, I mean, even if you look at the Castillo fight that a lot of people like to say he lost, right? Coming into the rematch, he knocked him out. I mean, the dude was so adaptive and so quick to analyze and break people down, and just he reminds me of the old ass TV show like Star Trek, right? The movies. You have the Borg. You could shoot them with your lasers, right? And you kill them. But then all of a sudden they adapt to it, and them lasers are not effective. And that's what Floyd reminded me of.
Yeah.
Fucking Borg.
You
hit him with it and he just adapts to it. Now it's ineffective. What are you going to do now?
Now, right. Once he takes that plan, he takes your bag of tricks away. And he was able to do that. And he was able to do that on a regular basis, man, and make the proper adjustments on the fly. And I feel like that's what separates true champions from other fighters and just brawlers with belts, or guts, or just talented people at belts. That's what basically separates them, is to be able to adapt and to just make adjustments. Where I've even seen Floyd telling guys, calm down, telling his corner, chill out. I got this. You know, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got this. I got this. Where he took over when everyone else was panicking in his corner. And like you said with AJ, he said, well, yeah, you gotta, hey, you should blame them, when in fact, these are the guys that said last minute, oh, you got to get him out of there. Now they changed the whole game plan. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Last second. And it's like, yeah, damn, listening to you motherfuckers got me here. You need to make them proper adjustments and know, because it's a lot different looking on the outside and being in there and having punches coming at you. You may be able to see things from the outside that you don't see from the inside. And you may be able to read a fighter on the inside, being in there with them, as to what other people are seeing, even though they're getting off on you. You can start reading what they're doing. You may catch, oh, that punch hurt him, but you can't see it from the outside because the guy grunts when you hit him a certain way, or you can tell that there's not as much power on a certain punch that it was in there earlier. So you won't have to be as careful, and you can take bigger chances. So it's a lot of things that can go into it. But yeah, I agree with you though, man. That's a good point. You know, making adjustments is key though.
Before I jump off, because I'm about to get off. After watching Caleb Plant and what he did against Canelo, the successes that he had, how does that make you feel about Bivol fighting Canelo?
I said the same thing. I think Bivol doesn't need to really work on anything when he fights Canelo. I think that I think he just needs to be himself and be in the best shape as he can be and just be himself. And it'll be a very entertaining, interesting fight, because I think he's a mover. He moves, but he's also he gets his shots off. Don't stick around too long, but get your shots off and do you. And I think if that was a Bivol landing them shots on him, it would have been doing a lot more damage.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I mean, but just do you, and I think that goes for Benavidez as well. Do you to the best of your ability, and hope that it works out in your favor. Because when you do try to make these adjustments, or sometimes or adjust things or change your style, it's new to you. So you don't want to be doing new shit on a regular basis with a guy like Canelo in front of you, because this dude's gonna be. You know, Canelo is a very, very good fighter, and at his size, with his attributes, I say it again, like it's a hell of an accomplishment to be where he's at, being 5'7" in that weight division, and overcoming things like reach advantage and height advantage. These are things that do count in boxing, and he's been doing it over and over again. So shout out to him.
The thing is, though, is I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest. I believe that short people, and a lot of people that disagree with me, but the reason why you don't see it often in boxing is because they always want you to be a weight bully. They want you to be as long as possible and be able to make the minimum weight that you can make for your body frame, so that way on fight night you can be as big as possible. You don't really get to see a lot of the short versus tall guy fight styles that much anymore, because of how everybody's, you know, stretched out to be as heavy as they can be on fight night. But when a little dude like Canelo knows how to fight a tall guy, I really believe being tall is a huge disadvantage. Like,
it can be, because you could get low. You could get low on them, and then you got these guys punching at nothing. And they say punching down is good, but sometimes you can't get to the guy. He's so low. You know what I mean? Kind of like them running backs. They're so low you can't see behind that line. You know what I mean? I know it's different, but it becomes an advantage when you're trying to crouch down, and then you find yourself fighting their size, crouch down to try to get a shot off, and then that puts them in perfect opportunity to put hands on you. So yeah, you're right about that as well. If you ain't gonna fight tall, it can work against you.
It's just we don't see enough guys like Canelo anymore, because like I said, they always want you stretched out, as skinny as possible when you get on the scale, so you can put on 15, 20 pounds by fight night. I mean, it's just, I think that if a lot more guys fought closer to their natural weight, even though they may be undersized by fight night, I think it may be more
be a benefit. I mean, shit, Floyd Mayweather's the perfect fucking guy to example. This dude always fought around the same damn weight class. When he was a welterweight, he'd always stay within that range. You know what I'm saying? And it benefited him because he was at his natural weight. He wasn't fighting to make weight. He wasn't fighting to do that. So his performance, his reaction time was on point. Like all these things benefit you as a fighter. You know what I mean? But styles make fights. It's a lot of different things that we could talk about. They get you know, to give guys advantages and disadvantages, but styles make fights as well. We seen that last night. You know what I mean? There were moments that Caleb had, and then there were moments where that motherfucker went to sleep. You know what I mean? Like that left hook. Did you see how hard that left hook was?
Yeah,
man, that shit was. And he caught him on the front before his left hook was going behind his head. Then it went to the front of his head, and his hand was like by his ear, and that shit just rocked him. Then he caught him with the uppie to finish him off on the way down, like perfect timing, and it just timed that motherfucker. This punch lands, he gonna go here, boom, this punch land, and that was it. That was it, man. That was it. Right then. I think that was the turn of the fight. It was like it's over. You know what I'm saying? And then you see dude walk from one end of the ring. You just walk right past the ref. You see that shit? You didn't know what the fuck was going out for a minute.
Like the minute he went down and got up, Canelo knew it was over. Like he ran that ring so fucking fast.
Finisher, man. Finisher. Both him and Bud, man. I love watching them guys finish guys. I was like, he finished him. Then he went after him some more. And it looked like Caleb was going to get up, but the result would have been the same.
You know
why? I think there was a lot of time left.
I'll tell you why I like Bud. Bud is the first fighter I've ever seen in history that when you hurt him, he becomes stronger.
Yeah. He just becomes more determined and angrier and focused as well. Like his focus gets hyper focused as well.
Well, that's the thing. Like Bud Crawford reminds me of the Black Goku. You remember in Dragon Ball Z, Goku would get his ass beat, and all of a sudden he goes Super Saiyan because he got his ass beat. Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, SSJ 4. But it all came off of him getting beat up at his worst. Then he just that's what Bud does. Like
you like that boss in the video game that when you drop them, they get up and they batter. Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. And that's not something that you see.
No,
you rarely ever see. It's like some superhero shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, now you done got me pissed off. You know what I mean? And this motherfucker turns into the Hulk and shit. You know? So yeah, it's like, it's true, man. And I think that's one, and not to mention that his skill set, and that's why I think fucking Spence and his team don't want nothing to do with the fucking guy.
He'll never fight him. He'll never.
I'm truly believing that shit now. Now I'm like, you know, man, I'm tired of hearing your trainer downgrade this dude and just bypass this guy. Like it's clear as day he's scared of you.
All that's gonna happen is Crawford's gonna I believe he's gonna knock Porter out. After he knocks Porter out, Spence is going to do everything he can to fight Ugas. Ugas is going to do everything he can do to get out of his mandatory so they can fight. And then once Spence beats Ugas, because I believe he could beat Ugas, unless the car accident took more out of him than we know, because we already see that his eyes fucked up. So there's no telling what other type of internal damage he had from that car wreck as he goes on training, sparring, etc. Assuming that he's actually 100%, I think that if he's forced to fight Bud, he vacates and moves up.
Yeah, damn.
I don't think he'll stay at 147 or he'll wait.
I don't think he can stay there either. I don't think he can stay there. Not the way he's been living.
Yeah, his lifestyle's trash.
Yeah, man. He gotta really get it together, man. Because otherwise, 147, he's gonna keep trying to make 147, and then it's gonna show in the ring. It's going to show. You can't keep turning it on and off, man. I can't address that enough because it's going to show where later in the rounds or he's going to look lethargic in there. It's going to catch you. It's going to catch you, that old overnight shit. And I think that affects a lot of people who don't stay in the gym and don't take their profession too serious and celebrating like they on top before they really reach their peak, you know, because they got a lot of yes men around him. Hashtag Deontay Wilder and Earl Spence. You know what I mean? A lot of yes men just telling them, man, you this, you that, you this, you that. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that these guys don't work hard in the gym. I'm pretty sure they do. But in the off season, man, you got to have one foot in still. You know what I mean? To make it easier for yourself. You know what I mean? Get the proper rest, obviously.
Well, that's why I think Tyson Fury is eventually going to catch up with him. I think he's a part-time fighter. I think he's so God gifted, so talented that that's all he's had to rely on, and he can, go on a cocaine binge for 3 years and come back and still be good. But eventually, it catches you.
Yeah.
And,
Because if
and
you
you
a
can be more
talent based fighter, man,
yeah,
like Roy,
more
it's
talented.
gonna catch you.
Yeah, you could be more talented, like born wise, more talented than somebody, but after years and years of abusing your body, and they haven't, they might just be a little bit behind you in talent, but because of all that abuse you've caused, now they're whooping your ass
Yeah.
because you did it yourself.
Yeah. Later in the rounds and just
Uh,
sluggish and But all right, man, I'll let you go.
yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for hopping
All right.
on, man. I appreciate it, Tony. Well, I think that's all I got as well. I've been putting it in. I've been putting in for a little minute, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I love talking boxing, man. I really enjoy this sport. And you know what I mean? This guy right here, Bud Crawford, shout out to Canelo Alvarez, you know what I mean? Because he out here looking at people like, you know what I mean? You can hate me as long as you want, but go fuck yourself. I was born ready. This motherfucker is the base of boxing, whether you like it or not, man. This man is undisputed. This man's accomplished something that nobody really has. And hey, man, you got to give him props, man. You got to give him props, man. This dude is going down as one of the greats, no doubt about it, man. And like I said, man, shout out to Caleb Plant for putting on a hell of a show and really coming to fight, not giving up, and he was ready to get up. I don't think it would have went in his favor at all. I feel like it was a good stoppage. That's for damn sure, because that motherfucker, that dude going coast to coast. He went from Florida to Cali, after that first knockdown. That motherfucker was traveling, from one end of the world to the other, and came back and just got slept. And then they stopped it. Hey, good stoppage, man, because it didn't look like it was going his way. But that's about it, man. That's all I got today. But thanks for coming, man. All the support. Hey, what's up, Lisa? I just seen Lisa in there. But yeah, I think that's all I got, man. Shout out to the Playback Gang and everybody who swung through, everybody who was on the panel. All the support, man. I appreciate it, man. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. It's the 1-2 Kid, and I'm signing out. Peace.